fate is before you. Choose wisely.
The highs with the lows. That's like these days. Bro chained up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. The highs with the lows. That's like these days. Bro chained up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. Any day could've been it. High school price on my head. Paranoid lying in my bed. Pray to God they don't turn my shirt cherry. I was lost, didn't know me. Introduced myself to codeine. 6 months was a dope fiend. Philly didn't even know things. There was a low me. Swear to God it would've hold me. Everything you ever told me. Everything you ever showed me. I forgot it. Caused me drama. I used to stay on one. Now I changed on them. The highs with the lows. That's life these days. Bro chained up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. Hit the highs with the lows. That's like these days. Bro chained up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. I just saw Jizzy got a plane. Guess that's what he meant when he said nothing was the same. Lately I've been grounded, energizing off the pain. Some things gon' change, I'm just soaking up the game. Through the mud, out the rain like I remember all those same nights. Now I'm on top, no stage fright. Now I'm on go, no brake lights. Hit the pedal, hit the engine roar. No fear like a matador. Breaking trends and I'm making more. Going up, climbing ladders more. I can't be stopped. Now I do what I want. Real, no front. All the way to the top. Highs with the lows. That's like these days. Bro chained up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. The highs with the lows. That's like these days. Bro chained up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. Keep God first. I see evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Go. Set it out. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it out. You living boring, I'm gonna set it out. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it out. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it out. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry deadly with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I ain't the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping, no I won't fall. No sleeping, no I won't it all. I keep God first. I see evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Go. Set it out. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it out. You living boring, I'm gonna set set it out. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it out. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it out. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama, I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for my baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard, couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you can never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you, who are you? Who are you, who are you? Sending shots, I block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop, pop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Play full belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. The real won't be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I made for a while. No sleeping while I won't fall. No sleeping while I won't lead off. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Go, 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 go. Set it out. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it out. You living boring, I'm gonna set it out. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it out. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it out. I hit recorded, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, these no Cartiers. Pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a peak, bro. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like whoa, that money clip us now the new now looks like whoa, upgrade her diamonds now her girlfriends are like whoa, 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 whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip, neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib, neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick, neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the dip. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way, I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, don't no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since the fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like whoa, that money clip us now the new now looks like whoa, upgrade her diamonds now her girlfriends are like whoa, 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 whoa. I press the button and the doors go off like whoa, that money clip us now the new now looks like whoa, upgrade her diamonds now her girlfriends are like whoa, 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 whoa. On my own, no fixer. I'm gon' ball, no picker. That IA doors, they live for. Talking on my back, go figure. Whole team eats from Splitter. Never was the one to go flicker. No face, no case, no picture. Full place, big stakes, my dinner. Flip that, Canal Street. Flip that, last week. Old money, this week. New racks, never buy none more. If I can't afford to gift wrap, stunning in your foreign car. You keep buying rental tags. Heard you roll the other lean, we are not the same. Couple thousand in my pocket, this pocket shit. Rubber bands on my arm, this is not for play. I put 20 on the crib while you cop a chain. I know they hated to love it. You know I love when they hate it. Last year was living basic. Haters on the other side. 3 up, read between the lines. Know I got some angels with me. Made it through some evil times. Late night on some demon time. Pour this bright, I need love. I can't lock it, sweet love. Free time. on. You can assume with your chains on. I can see none with the lights off. Cap, you been the main one. Coolin' when I got my mains on. Show money.
Power. Yes. Power. What happens when a man becomes indomitable when he knows what his worth is and he's not limited to the image that has been impacted on his mind mentally? Many times within the contextual framework of America, many men have suffered in silence because they have been impacted in negative relationships. They have been impacted from single-parent homes. They have been impacted because they don't have fathers to teach them what true power looks like and how to obtain that power in a healthy relationship. In this show, we're going to explore why men should be thankful for who they are, but more importantly, why black men should be thankful. Black men in America should be thankful because they are very resilient. Many are born under distress and pain unparalleled to any other ethnic group. Black men should be thankful because they are the creators of music. They're the creators of culture. They're the creators of power. They're the creators in the athletic realm. Black men have something that's incomparable to any other ethnic group. Some call it swag. The young folks call it drip. And when you think about what black men have been through, black men have shown over and over again the level of resilience that they have. In this show, we're going to work together to teach black men why world travel is one of the great elixirs to help them understand why they are indomitable. And once black men understand the power of being indomitable, they will learn that they are loved and respected in other countries. They don't have to suffer for disrespect. They don't have to suffer from lack of love or lack of honor. And they can learn that there are women from other countries that will honor them, cherish them, listen to them. And they don't have to give all their best to women that see them as less than. Join me on this show on this Thanksgiving edition as we talk about the perils of being a black man in America and why black men should be thankful because they have choice. And once a black man has choice and he knows what those choices are, then he will learn to erase the negative ravages that have been impacted upon him that has caused him to have what's called a schema affliction. That schema affliction is a pattern of thinking that causes that man pain. But once that man knows what his worth is, he can start moving forth in a manner that's consistent with what his ancestors went through. But also men of the past did not use victimhood as a measure to remain in a state of desolation. Enjoy this show and remember that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized, and world travel is one of them. And also understanding male psychology and female psychology. And I want you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Enjoy this show as we talk about the indomitable male and why you are an indomitable male yourself. Be well. All right, blessings, guys. We're about to start this show on tonight. We're talking about the indomitable black man. Get your pens and your paper ready, guys. We're going to chop up some comprehensive game on tonight. This is a wonderful show. This is going to be a time to celebrate black men because many times black men in America are not celebrated. Let's get ready. Bringing it to you live once again from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State, where the topography is serene, pristine, and verdant green, where every day is Father's Day, and where manhood is part of hills and valleys, victories and failures. Let's have a conversation. And whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, share the content. But tonight, we come together as allies of a common cause only to dissipate once the crisis is over. Now listen, I'm about to drop some fire for your mind. But before I drop that fire, let's explore why we are doing the Manhood Chronicles. All right. Blessings, guys. This is Thanksgiving, and I'm honored for the brothers that are listening to the show on tonight. Listen, black men in America are often under many hurdles and burdens. And many times we come out unscathed because we have a condition called being resilient. But before we talk about the indomitable black man, I want to give a shout out to my man, A Man Supporting Men, AMSM. Shout out to him. Shout out to my man, Black Ken. Yeah, Black Ken, I'll be dropping them gems, brother. You know, that's that Leo secret, man. I'll tell you about it one day in private, brother. But much love. Thank you for liking the songs, man. I try to do my best to make sure you guys get the best content, the best entertainment possible. And shout out to my man, James Best, for the $9 super chat. Thank you, sir. But we're going to have a comprehensive show on tonight. I got back from South America about a week or two ago, and we're going to talk about the indomitable black man. Listen, many of you black men have been broken under the hands of single motherhood. Many of you have been broken under the laws of Jim Crow racism. Many of you have been broken under the laws of racist white supremacy. Many of you guys have been silenced by a matriarchy that have told you that you should not speak and that you're less than. But I want to encourage you guys on tonight, and I want you guys to understand that there's greatness within you. You are indomitable because your ancestors, when they crossed the transatlantic slave trade, were able to overcome the perils and the ravages of slavery. You are indomitable because some of you guys were raised up in the inner cities, and sometimes you guys were put in conditions that with most people, they would have folded. If you're listening to this show tonight, it means that you are an overcomer. And I come to tell you on tonight that I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of the brothers that have been supporting me on this journey, even though doing this work and doing these streams can be very tenuous, can be very taxing. But you guys have stuck with me, and because you guys have stuck with me, I'm forever grateful. We're going to talk about why black men are indomitable, meaning they have a warrior spirit. They never quit. They fight through adversity. And some of you guys that are listening have been through a lot. Some of you guys have been molested. Some of you guys have been incarcerated. Some of you guys have been told by the educational system that you were less than, that you were special education. But a lot of you guys have begun to overcome those challenges because somehow there's an inner flame within you that supersedes the barriers that have been placed in front of you. And so we're going to have a conversation because that conversation is very important. So the question remains on tonight, what are you thankful for? What are you brothers that are listening thankful for? What are you guys struggling with as young black men in America? We live in a world where many times many black men are silenced. They don't have a voice. Many of you men go home to homes where you have to compromise your peace because you have women that don't respect you and honor you as men. Many of you men are compromising your sanity and your masculinity because every day you are fighting for your sanity. You're fighting for your peace. You're fighting for your place in the society that many times don't give a damn. But a warrior is a person that goes through the flames and the trials of life, but he comes out unscathed. And he comes out unscathed because he has an inner spirit within him that says, I would not quit. And that's what's happened to some of you men that are listening. Some of you guys are indomitable. You have the warrior spirit because regardless of what you've been through, you have failed to quit. And I'm trying to tell you guys, you don't have to settle for mediocrity here in America. You don't have to settle for women that don't honor you, respect you, and love you as a man. You don't have to settle for subpar behavior. Because greater always comes later when you prepare yourself mentally and physically. The gospel said that a man that's put his hand to the plow and look back is not fit for the kingdom of God. Are you fit for the kingdom of life? Are you fit to deal with the hurdles and the bombs that so many people throw your way? Are you fit for a gynocentric culture that have told you that you are not worthy as a man? Many of you have been through so much. You have been under conditions similar to people in concentration camps. You guys have been impacted by the beer virus. And some of you guys have still come out unscathed. Some of you guys are victims of paternity fraud. And to the average man, many men will have lost their mind, but the black man in America is indomitable. And it means he's been able to overcome. And while my channel is more or less geared towards black men, I would say all men in America are indomitable. Because black men and white men both have been victims of a system that many times hold them accountable while it doesn't hold their counterparts accountable. So you guys got a lot to be thankful for because you're still in the land of the living. You have a lot to be thankful for because there's greater later. And when you begin to apply yourself, when you begin to do the shallow work and the introspection, when you begin to dot and those things that cause you to be in a state of pain and distress, you begin to be the better version of yourself. Right now, some of you guys are in relationships that has taken away your peace. Some of you men in relationships that have taken away your joy. Some of you men are dealing with women that don't respect you as men. And the longer you stay in those toxic relationships, you're deferring power instead of demanding power. Frederick Douglass said that power never conceded to anyone without a struggle. It never have, and it never will. And because of that power differential, some of you guys continue to go through a condition called a schema affliction. As a clinical therapist, a schema is a fixated mind state that can be negative or positive. And the schema that many of you guys have, you say that I'm not worthy. Your schema say, I can't do it. Your schema say, I'm not loved. Your schema say, I'm a lame. Your schema say that she won't want me. Your schema say, I'm not good enough. And that negative schema is causing many of you to lose out on the benefits of life. There's a whole world out here, guys, to be enjoyed. And I told you guys that world travel is one of the 7 steps that helps a man become optimized. Are you ready to become optimized? Are you ready to understand female nature? Are you ready to be liberated? Are you ready to get with women that will get with your program? Are you ready to get with women that are going to honor you, respect you, and that dirty word, obey you as a man? Because many men give a lot in this world. Being a man is hard. And it takes an indomitable man to overcome the challenges and the perils of this current world that we live in called America. So I salute all the brothers that are listening on tonight. The men that have been wounded mentally. The men that have been wounded sexually. The men that have been wounded socially. The men that have looked adversity in their eyes and said, I will overcome the challenges called life. You are indomitable, which means you are a warrior, which means you won't quit, which means your drip can't be stopped, which means your swag can't be stopped because you have believed in yourself and I have believed in you. When I took on this journey back in 2008, I decided to become a clinical therapist because I saw the pain of many black men in silence, and not only black men, all men. Because all men are victims of a caustic system called a gynocracy. A gynocracy that, as I said earlier, holds you accountable, but many times holds her hand. And while my channel is not necessarily meant to accost or more or less castigate women, because there's some good women that listen to these men's channel. There are some good women that are trying to learn, so I say salute to you sisters, the ones that are trying to learn. And we know that there are chameleons that come in these spaces that come with no good intentions, only to usurp or to overthrow the masculine authority. But I salute all the men that are listening, that are striving to learn, that are striving to change. And the more we begin to look at ourselves, the more we begin to love ourselves, the more we're willing to do the work to overcome the barriers that have been in our way for so long, the quicker we can reach our destiny as men. It's a beautiful thing to be a black man in America. It's a beautiful thing to have rich chocolate skin, melanin popping. It's a beautiful thing. Would you not agree? It's a beautiful thing to know that you have peace and you have the opportunity to be great. It's a beautiful thing to know that you came from a time when many people would have suffered under the pressure that your ancestors went through. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to know that great swooners like Teddy Pendergrass and Marvin Gaye and Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, songs from the 80s, gospel songs, Andre Crouch, The Winers Commission, basketball stars like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Dumars, other great greats, men that have been through a system of racial white supremacy, only to come out unscathed. And while I don't believe in victimhood, I'm not blaming everything on white supremacy. I refuse to do that because our ancestors were able to overcome under those conditions. But I'm thankful for a community or a time when men were men. I'm thankful for a time when men were willing to stand on their convictions and stand unwavering. I'm thankful for a time when men were able to stand strong and not give a damn about what people thought. That's a strong man. And while we live in a world now where masculinity appears to be shrinking and where masculinity appears to be under attack, there's a remnant in the bushes that are listening. There's a remnant in the bushes that's ready to be invigorated. There's a remnant in the bushes that's ready to reach the challenges of masculinity and find a woman that can help him become the best version of himself. There's a remnant. And that remnant needs to be encouraged. But that remnant can't be encouraged if they don't have the proper men in their lives that give them the direction. So I'm going to say it once again. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for the James Best of the world. I'm grateful for the Dragos Flames of the world. I'm grateful for the Mr. Stewarts of the world and all the other men that have given to me on this journey with the Manhood Chronicles and the Kosher Clinician. It's been a struggle and it's been hard, but I'm grateful. And I'm also grateful for beautiful women like Sweet Lulu Bean and the Mika G's of the world. I'm grateful for women like that. Manhood appears to be under attack. And because we live in a world where many people won't speak out, it causes many men to continue to suffer in that cycle of deprivation. But you guys have heard it over and over and over and over again about the struggles that many men are going through. You guys have heard about the turmoil that many men are going through. You guys have heard about the challenges that many men are going through mentally, but yet they're still willing to overcome the distress and the pain of the past. So on tonight, we're going to celebrate Black masculinity. And we're going to talk about why Black men should be thankful for being Black men, because there's an inner warrior in you. You guys are indomitable. And it's not too many men in this world that has been through what the American Black man has been through. But yet you still rise. You guys were more or less subjugated in World War II. You were subjugated during the Vietnam War. You were subjugated during the Revolutionary War. You fought for your country, but yet you were never given the privilege and the honor of the Americans. But yet you still reign triumphant. So you have a right, brothers, to be thankful. You have a right to be thankful. So we're going to celebrate the indomitable Black man on tonight. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to finish the discussion on world travel, because world travel is the great equalizer for many Black men. Once you travel outside of America, you're going to get the kind of respect that you deserve. You're going to realize that you're not seen as a scab. You're going to realize that you have virtue and that you have love and that you have power. So we're going to have a powerful discussion on tonight. But to the people that are listening, I need you guys to share the content. Please share the content. Thank you to all the people that have given on tonight. Please share the content as we have a Thanksgiving edition called the Indomitable male, or the indomitable black man. And so I want to hear a discussion for the brothers that have been struggling. I want men to tell their story, to tell their pain, and to tell how they're grateful, because even though they were victims of something negative, they came out unscathed. They were victims of something negative, but they came out unscathed. If you are listening tonight, if you have ears to hear the stories of other men, then you are blessed and you should be thankful. So we're going to have a powerful conversation on tonight. Thank you to everybody that are listening. Shout out to my man, Shannon Ross. Much love and blessings, brothers. I love my man, Shannon Ross. Shannon, get ready, brother. We're going to do that show called the Gen X Nexus at some point. We're going to do that show, Shannon, called the Gen X Nexus at some point. So I want you to get ready, Shannon, because you got a story to tell the audience. Shout out to my man, Kicking Dope Logic. Much blessings to him as well. And also to all the sisters. You know, shout out to my sister, Sweet Lulu Bean. Much love and blessing to her. And Sweet Lulu Bean has been what I call the spirit of the mongoose. You know, a mongoose often kills snakes. They know how to spot out snakes, and they're very methodical to the point that they'll kill a snake. So shout out to my sister, Sweet Lulu Bean, as we get ready to... You are 100% correct. They don't realize it. And Michael Jackson said it better than I could say it. He said, they don't really care about us. And, you know, it's really sad because many of our women don't understand heteronormative masculinity. Many don't understand the struggles of being black in America. Many don't understand the struggles that black men go through, and many black men go through a lot. We go through a lot. And so I'm so honored to the people that are listening. Shout out to my man, Black Man 316 for the $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. I'm honored, man. Oh man, you guys don't know what it does for me when you guys donate to this channel. I put my heart into this channel, man. And like I said, when I hear brothers like Black Man 316 and the other brothers giving, it's such a blessing. Shout out to my dear friend, my sweet friend, Miss Parker, back to the basics. Shout out to SAG. It's Sagittarius season. Shout out to her. And so, guys, we're going to have a powerful show on tonight. Shout out to my sister, Miss Parker. She's awesome. I love that sister. And let's have a conversation because the black man in America is indomitable. All right? So, as I told you guys, I was in South America. And I told you guys the evidence does not lie. And I had a great time meeting natives and meeting other black men that are leaving the confines of America because they need to be redeemed mentally. When a man gets the mental redemption that he needs, he becomes the best version of himself. And oftentimes that redemption is seen under the veneer of femininity. Men need feminine women to become better virgins. When a woman is feminine, she oscillates the masculinity in a man. Men need to be oscillated like a fan. A fan is an oscillator. And so when a man gets a feminine woman, he begins to oscillate. Shout out to my man, Mr. GG0 Money Down Real Estate Structure. Shout out to him. So we're going to have a powerful conversation on tonight. And guys, please share the content to all the ones that have given. Thank you, guys. I love you guys for everything that you're doing. I'm so invigorated. I'm so honored to serve you guys. And I promise you the content is going to only get better. I don't care if I have only one looking. It's going to keep getting better and better and better. So shout out to the people that are listening as we get ready to chop up some comprehensive game on tonight. I'm going to drop the link. But like I said, I was in Brazil, and I want to share with you guys that you don't have to suffer or deal with mediocrity here in America. You don't have to deal with the mediocrity here in America. So we're going to look at this clip with my man Heifer. And he's talking about why he decided to date abroad. So hold tight, guys. Hold tight. All right, man. We bring to you live from Brazil Airport with my man Heifer.
What's good? What's good, everyone?
No doubt. Heifer, I want you to tell the group about yourself and why you chose to go to Brazil, and why did you choose to deal with Afro-Latin or Latins and compare it to the women in the States?
Be honest, man, Brazil's got a lot to do, man. It's, even out, what we all travel for, there's a lot more activity to do, but Brazilian women are some of the most passionate women you ever meet, man. Beautiful, natural hair. And the thing about it, most of you guys in the States are not willing to take that 10-hour flight, so it's really an untouched place compared to the other locations everybody else go to.
No doubt. When it comes down to struggles, what were some of the struggles, Hefe, you dealt with women in the States, and why did you choose to expand your options outside the confines of the United States?
At the end of the day, I think it's important that people find someone that is grateful for what you bring to the table. Gratefulness is, men don't care about love, we care about respect.
Right. And you guys heard that. And to the ladies that are listening, thank you guys that are listening. I actually looked at Miss Parker's show, Miss Parker Back to the Basics. Guys, go check out her channel, her YouTube channel, because she's one of the sisters that's trying to learn. I was so impressed where she said that she did not understand or realize that many men were going through the things that they're going through. And yes, Miss Parker, many black men go through many things. And many times black men don't talk about their struggles or their pains because many times it's shot down. They have been conditioned to be subjugates of Western women instead of being conditioned to demand power. And it's my job to give black men power within America. It's my job to help black men become the better version of themselves, not only black men, but all men. So go check out Miss Parker Back to Basics. The sister was dropping some fire. And shout out to the SAG Nation. We're in the circle of fire, so, it gets no better than that. But keep listening to my man Hefe because he's dropping some powerful gems on tonight. Keep listening.
And at the end of the day, you need to find somebody who's going to respect whatever you bring to the table.
Right. You are an entrepreneur. You work in law enforcement. You have a lot of status. There's an old saying, Hefe, that says that greater is later. Tell the guys why greater is later when it comes down to focusing on yourself and learning to love yourself and to get the outcome that you desire as an older black man.
Because at the end of the day, once you focus on yourself, keep the man upstairs, in front of everything, he's going to give you blessings that you don't even know you're ready for. So at the end of the day, just keep your head up and know that, great things are to come.
Why should men date abroad with Latin women or African or Afro-Latin women, just Latin women in general? Why Latin women, besides the passionate part? What else do you like about Latin women here in Brazil?
I like the fact that they are appreciative of the little things that you offer. They appreciate a drink, appreciate your time, unlike in our country. Everybody want to eat a papados for nothing.
It's a papados. All right, so real quick, you talked about the struggles. What were some of the struggles I think you said you had with American dating? And is marriage and dating in America dead in your opinion?
I think it's dead. It's a lack of respect. I believe in the good book. I always tell a woman what story in the Bible got you running the show.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's no diss to a woman. It's just saying that I believe God had his plans, and he put it out.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, young men especially that are listening. Stop selling for mediocrity in relationships. I got the power to help you change those negative thoughts that you are having. If you're having negative thoughts, if you're dealing with toxic women, come check me out at kosherclinician@gmail.com for a non-diagnostic consultation. It's my job to empower black men to get them ready mentally for love, to get them mentally ready for cooperation, because there are women from other countries that are Afro-Latin, that are African, that will love you and that will celebrate you and that will not consistently challenge your masculinity as a man. So I want you guys to get ready for it, because come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com for non-diagnostic consultations. It's time for black men to be liberated, and I'm going to be that liberator. Keep listening.
Out for us what it was going to be. So at the end of the day, whatever woman you think you are now, you're not going to be able to change what God already said. So
right.
I think the problem is that women are making a little bit more money now, and they think that, let's be equal. And nothing wrong with treating a woman right and doing right by her. But at the end of the day, if we have 200-pound box over there, we both equally can't pick up the same thing.
I like that. Right. Let me ask you a question. Do American men compromise their power too much in your opinion?
For sure.
Tell me how. Tell the audience and tell the young men how.
Compromise our power because once you let them have dominion over you one time, then it's over for sure, forever. You can't get that back. So if you read the good book, it tells you that woman's dominion is over the house and the kids.
Right.
Not you.
Right, right. When you compare Brazilian men to American. And so, guys, once again, that happens. Men tend to compromise their power. So, Kia, I want to answer your question, dear. You say, is it wrong for a woman to want to depend on a man for everything? Listen, autonomy is very important in a relationship. But a woman, Kia, that comes into a relationship that's free of fear and is willing to be vulnerable, it's okay to depend on your man if he's a good man. Now, depending on your man for provision and protection is not wrong if you're giving him cooperation and submission. So it's nothing wrong with depending on your man for the majority of things, but you do need to have an identity outside of your man. You need to have an identity outside of your man. But in general, it's okay to depend on your man. But Kia, you and many black women have been conditioned to see yourselves as not needing a black man. You guys have been conditioned to say that I'm a strong, independent black woman and I don't need a man, instead of saying I'm going to be strong and self-sufficient, or soft and self-sufficient until I get my man. Men and women were made to be optimized. They were optimized, synchronized to be optimized, or optimized to be synchronized, which basically means when God made man and woman, he made them ready to be complements of one another. So it's important that women, when they come into the relationship with a righteous man, that she's ready and conditioned to get with that man and to get with his program. A man can't give you everything, but it's important to know that if you have a good man that's healthy socially and mentally, he's ready to compliment you and you compliment him if it answers your question. Keep listening. American man, what is the succinct difference in your opinion?
I don't really know if I know Brazilian men that well. They're very respectful guys. I've never had a problem. They all treated me with respect. So I can't say nothing about that. I'm pretty happy with them.
Based on the conditions you see in Brazil, should American women be grateful for the laws and the fairness that American men exude?
Yeah, because I tell them if they don't like what we got to offer, go to Afghanistan. Really see what the world is like.
No doubt. Well, listen, guys, you got my man Jefe. We're bringing to you live from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And we're about to board the plane, guys. And I want you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right, guys. 7 steps for a man to become optimized, and world travel is one of them. And once you get into the flow of world travel, you'll begin to see the world from a different perspective. Be well. All right, so once again, guys, we're having a powerful discussion on tonight, and we're talking about the indomitable black man. We're talking about teaching men to be conditioned to love themselves. And so I did a show with my man Iguapo in the past as well, and he was talking about how black men are celebrated abroad. Black men in countries like Colombia, similar to what Sweet Lulu Bean said, are actually seen as beautiful or handsome. They're seen as sexy. The darker, sometimes the better. I had a conversation with some of the natives, and they said that they really like black men because they were kind. Black men have been conditioned to be kind. They said black men had big hearts, and they were very attractive, and they had culture, and they had swag. So when black men travel abroad, they're loved and honored by other cultures. And I want to get you guys to understand that you have the power to become the best version of yourself. The more you work on yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you begin to do the shallow work in the introspection. Once you get to therapy, and I'm that therapist that's ready to help you become the better version of yourself, you're going to realize that you're getting closer and closer to becoming indomitable, meaning unstoppable, meaning that warrior, like the Zulus. The Zulus were indomitable. They destroyed the British for years. And so Sweet Lulu Bean says she's correct. She says it's interesting how the same independent black woman who doesn't need a man still wants a man who makes and has more than her. Hey sis, and I agree with you. That's the cognitive dissonance that we're talking about, the deafness of the Western woman. And you see, what many people don't understand is this. It's not that black men don't love black women. Black men love black women. But they don't love the behaviors. They don't love the toxicity of many modern women. They want women that can cooperate. They want women that compliments them. They want women when they come home, she can bring his peace instead of bring his pain. And I get it. Men and women both work today. I get that. But there's a price to pay if you want to be in a relationship. If every woman got married today, according to data, 2 million women still would not have husbands in America. So I'm going to challenge some of you women that are listening. What are you willing to concede to in order to get a good man? Are you ready to do the therapy? Are you ready to do the shallow work? Are you ready to uncover so that you can recover, so that you can get the man that you deserve or desire? Because no one deserves anything, man or woman. Some of you women have been under conditions where you've been taught by your moms not to love a man. Some of you women are victims of vicarious trauma. You're living the trauma of your mothers because they got with bad men. You're living the traumas of your mothers because they got with dusty men. They got with men that they shouldn't have got with. They got with men that lied to them. And because of that, and because of her pain, you begin to associate every black man based on the experience of your mother as being bad. And with over 59% of men single or never had children, and with over 29% of men in America being virgins, something's wrong with that picture. So what are you willing to uncover so that you can recover? What are you willing to do to become the best version of yourself? Are you willing to die? Are you willing to die of the things that have conflicted you or caused you to be unloved and unbearable? Because many times, many black men feel that some of our women are insufferable. They're hard to deal with. They don't want to be around them. And with marriage rates dropping, therapy is needed for many of our men and women. So you heard it. This young brother, Hefe from Texas, and you're right, black man, 316, he's from Houston, Texas. My man, Hefe, he travels over 10 hours, to get peace, to get love, to get respect, or sometimes just to have time to relax. Because every now and then, if you're a hardworking black man, you need to be recharged. You need to get away in order to recharge. And if a man was getting that charging station from his woman, he wouldn't have to go abroad to travel. But I took this trip because I did a show with my dear friend Aaron Ferris, A Black Man Travels. And also I went to chop it up with some of the brothers of BMO. Shout out to my man Al Grease. Al Grease is coming out with Frustrated 3. And so guys, make sure you check out that movie by my dear friend Al Grease, Frustrated 3, when it comes out. And it's talking about some of the struggles that many black men are dealing with. Many black men are traveling abroad. Many black men are leaving relationships because they want peace. And the older a man gets, the more he wants peace. So men, you have a lot to be thankful for. You have a lot to be grateful for because you are still living and you still have hope. You are descendants of slaves. I call it Americans of the African diaspora. In your bloodline, your ancestors were able to deal with the ravages of being on that slave ship. So you are a conqueror, black man. You are indomitable. So you have a lot to be thankful for in this Thanksgiving edition. So once again, man, we're getting ready. Looking forward to Al Grease and his movie called Frustrated 3. I should be in that movie with Dr. Ron Neal, a dear friend of mine, as we talk about the conditions that are impacting us within the contextual framework of America. So I'm going to drop the link in a few minutes, and I'm going to continue to read the comments. Black Man 316 said, it seems that the only way to establish balance with American women is to keep your bags packed and to sleep light. And it's sad, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. And I've said it over and over again. Black men don't hate black women. They really love black women, but they're tired, man. Brothers are tired. They're just tired. They're tired of fighting. They're tired of being targets of aggression. They're tired of being targets of displaced aggression. Black men just want peace. And many black men are saying, if I can't get peace, I'll just stay single because my peace matters more than anything. My peace matters more than sex. My peace matters more than spending my hard-earned money on a woman that's ungrateful.
Many black men say, I choose peace, and I choose my purpose over the current states and the conditions of the Western woman. So therefore, it's unfortunate. Sweet Lulu Bing said that Western black women need to accept that their current attitudes are not bringing them the results they want with the American black man. And dear sister, I concur 100%. I call Lulu Bing the spirit of the mongoose. I'm going to do a show on you, Sweet Lulu Bing, at some point. I call it the spirit of the mongoose. You know, and as I said earlier, a mongoose always sniffs out a snake and destroys it, because black men need cheerleaders. Black men need allies. And Sweet Lulu Bing is a married woman. Her husband is blessed. He's blessed to have a woman that's a cheerleader for her husband. Miss Parker is a good sister. She's in a relationship. She got a good man, I'm going to assume. But we need sisters like Miss Parker, Sweet Lulu Bing, the Mika G's of the world, the sisters that are listening. The sisters are trying to understand the pain and the struggles of black men in America instead of castigating them every chance they get. Teddy Pendergrass said it better than me. He said, it's so good to love somebody and somebody to love you back. It's powerful when you're loved by a woman. It's powerful when a man can come home and that woman can be his peace, where he can see her sashaying with her soft hips and her sundress. And when he can hear her, when he hears her speak, her tone and her vibration is not a negative vibration, but it's a vibration of peace. Once you men get a feminine woman, it will never be the same again. Once you get around a feminine woman, you will never go back to the current women that you're dealing with. Shout out to my man, Top Gun. For that super chat. When Top Gun said, I'm masking of Lulu Bing tonight. Yeah, Lulu Bing, you gotta take the mask off tonight, Lulu Bing. We're gonna put you on center stage after I finish going through some of the protocols of this show. We want to see the real Lulu Bing. We want to see the mongoose behind the scene that's an agitator for Western women. We want to see the real Lulu Bing. So Lulu Bing, get ready. We want to see the real Lulu Bing. Everybody's been asking about you, Lulu Bing. We want to see the real Lulu Bing, all right? So don't be afraid, Lulu Bing. Let that sag swag, all right? And blessings to you and your husband on tonight as well. All right. And so Andrew Baker said, facts, travel overseas to get that feminine black woman. And listen, guys, let me share something with you with world travel. If you are lame in America, you'll be a lame overseas. Women can pick up weak men. Women overseas got game, and women overseas got issues too, but here's the difference. They have been better conditioned to be conservative and traditional. I'm going to say it again. They have been better conditioned to be conservative, and they have been better conditioned to be traditional. They have been conditioned to serve. Many of our women have been compromised by liberal policies, and many of our women continue to become compromised because they don't want to defer that power. They want to keep the power that's been given to them by liberal policies. And sadly, it will be to their own detriment. So to the 34 that are watching, share the content. Get the likes up, guys. Let's have a powerful show, because the black man is indomitable. It's my job to erase that negative schema that you guys have. Get your passports ready. Get ready to travel and see the world. Go to Sweet Lulu Bing's country, South Africa, and feel the feminine vibration of African women. Feel the feminine vibration of women from Brazil. Feel the feminine vibration of women from Colombia. Feel that feminine vibration. Let that femininity oscillate in your mind. Let that feminine vibration oscillate in your spirit, brothers. Let that feminine vibration oscillate in your soul. Get ready, brothers, because your time on this earth is limited. Tomorrow is not promised to no man. And many men, guys, have gone to the grave broken. Many men have gone to the grave in the spirit, in a state of despair. And liberators like my friend Al Grease is ready to degrease you from the toxicity that lies within the modern woman. So when that brother get that video, that movie out, go support Al Grease. Go support my dear friend Al Grease and his movie Frustrated 3. I'm looking forward to it, and so should you. So we're going to have a powerful conversation on tonight. I'm going to drop the link in a few minutes, but before I drop the link, I got something else I want to continue to work on. So guys, hold tight. But Sweet Lulu Bean said at Top Gun, I'm still thinking about it. She said, I'm not trying to be in these YouTube streets. Come on, Sweet Lulu Bean. This is the unmasking of Sweet Lulu Bean. If not for about 1 minute, you can demask. You ain't got to be on all the whole time. But we want to see who this great woman is, this brilliant woman behind the scene. And once again, shout out to your husband, your family on this Thanksgiving. But we want to see who the agitator for male empowerment is, because you have been an advocate for black men. And because of that, the brothers that are listening are grateful. You and the Mika G's and the Miss Parkers and the Dr. O's of the world. We're grateful for sisters that advocate and are cheerleaders for broken black men in America. So shout out to you ladies. So guys, hold tight. I'm gonna play a little bit of jazz again until I get this thing up. So just hold tight, guys. Play a little bit of music, and we're gonna get this thing up in a minute. So hold tight. Tight. 1 minute, guys. I'll try to find this.
It definitely was a brotherhood moment that I never forget in my life. So, yeah, it's almost like I had a glimpse of heaven, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll tell you is that what it was for me on my first trip,
my man in Guapo from
recalibration
Beautiful
of my mindset
Lives
when it came to interacting with women. And the reason I say that is because you have women that aren't fighting their femininity down there. The
Yes.
things that technically make them valuable.
Right.
Their beauty, their fitness, their chasteness, maybe not their chasteness, their fertility. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Operating in their feminine energy.
Right.
And they run the complete gamut of colors, of hair textures, of education levels, all that stuff, sizes, shapes, and everything else. And they really do value men that treat them well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they value that masculine energy, which is something that's very lacking here in this country.
Yes,
you
sir.
can find it, but it is a rarity to actually come across it.
Right.
So and down there it's in abundance. So when I say recalibration is upon my return from my first trip, I was like, man, I don't care how bad the chick is or what have you. I just was messing with 3 bad chicks that looked better than you, that are in better shape than you about a week ago. So it makes you it galvanizes your spirit. You're really strong in your frame when you come back. And I try not to cuss, but you don't take no shit off these chicks up here. You know what I mean?
Right,
I hope
right,
that's
right.
okay. I said a couple.
Shout out to my man Bryce Kringler. He said, I've been to Brazil 5 times and found my wife there. I'm trying to find a way to move to Brazil. That's how good my wife in Brazil has been to me. And that's what men are looking for, guys. They're looking for peace. And I'm telling you guys that the black man is indomitable. He's an icon to be loved. Hold tight. Let's turn this music off. I apologize, guys. Hold tight. Keep listening.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, it was a heck of an experience. I instantly fell in love with the country and the culture. I love the food down there, you know. And yeah, I've been going back, and after a while I was spending money to go down. I had to figure out a way to make money to go down. So I do some business down there and everything now. And yeah, it's nice.
Right. So there's a panel of brothers on this show that are actually listening. And so, you know, we can do it in whatever order, reverse order. Why haven't some of the guys that are listening found their peace, which is their rib? But also, why haven't they found peace? So whoever want to speak up and share with the audience, how many of you guys on the panel are actually single and haven't found your wife in America? And tell me, why do you think why haven't you found your wife in the confines of America?
May I jump in on that, Doc?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And coming in, I'm like most of you. I spent 24 years in the United States Army, 3 combat tours as a combat armed soldier. Like you, Doc, I am now a licensed clinical professional counselor. Been licensed for the last 9 years now.
Yes, sir. Salute.
Like my brother, I've been married 3 times to 3 black women.
Right.
I've traveled out. You know, this was my first trip to Brazil, but definitely not my first trip. I've worn the DR out. I've worn Cartagena, Colombia out. Mombasa, Kenya, and these are all just in my travels. But I will say, I think for me, it's because I have a tattoo across my stomach, and I'll be honest, and it says to live and die for the black woman. I guess you not. And so for me, I think my problem was my mind just was not open. I saw other races of chicks as just something to play with. Right.
So you're hearing it from this rum brother from anecdotal evidence. He said to live and to die for the black woman. And so, guys, I do these shows because many women don't understand our men. Some want to understand the women that are listening, but some don't want to understand. Some get triggered when they really hear how black men really feel because they've been conditioned to think that black men really don't have needs. But black men need more than just sex. They need companionship and love. They need respect the most. And so I do these shows, guys, to show you the evidence so that you guys can get ready to change how you think about the American black man, but also to the black men that have been browbeating by Western women to expand your options and to determine what your options are abroad. Keep listening.
That I could never take them seriously, nor they take me seriously because we don't have the same shared experiences. So I think for me, my problem was my mind wasn't open. Having lived overseas in the places I was stationed for years at a time, I didn't have an open mind. I never saw them as, you know, that they would value me. Maybe I saw them as they looking for the ticket to the big BX or PX in the sky across the sea for you brothers that's been in the military, you know, or the big Walmart across the sea. And I think that was my mindset till I finally started to really sit back. Now I haven't met a woman overseas yet that I've developed that interest in. So I think for me, just to be short, my problem is I didn't open my mindset to believing that those outside of us could take us seriously until within the last 2 years or so. So that was the reason why I've been single for so long, and because I didn't open my mindset, and my mind is wide open now.
That's good, man. That's real good that it's open. Here, and I'm going to chime in real fast just because I'm recently engaged. Okay. At a point in my life that I really was not looking to get married again. I do prefer it. Man, ain't nothing out here in these streets, man, but a bunch of headache, heartache, and diminishing returns with mediocre vagina, my humble opinion. Okay. So I'm just being honest, man. Once you've been to the mountaintop and you've gone to Brazil for 15 years, it's hard to follow that up. But I happened upon Labea, and she is a true feminine amplifier. She amplifies my life in I would say 80% of the areas that I operate, So be encouraged. Definitely be encouraged, because there are women out here that can elevate you to areas more expeditiously than you could get by yourself. Once again, it's a rarity, but you're going to find it more in, I don't think it's a color thing. I do think it's a cultural thing. You know, I don't think we have a color problem in this country, or within our race. I think we have a cultural problem.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. I can see that.
And I think he's correct. We do have a cultural problem. We have a problem in this world as many have been conditioned not to respect and honor black men in the homes. Many have not seen strong black men in the homes. Many don't know what masculinity look like in the homes. Therefore, the culture does not honor the black man. The culture sees the black man as a token of their own gratification. In other cultures, masculinity is honored. But in America, it is not honored. And that's why men are beginning to look for love and respect outside of America. Keep listening.
I can see that context. I think when you look at the cultures in foreign lands like Brazil, I think the men are more masculine. They're not backed by what's called caustic feminism. We have a couple of guys on the panel. Eric, I want to ask you a question. I call you Brother Aaron. Why is Eric Spencer not married? Why haven't Eric Spencer found his peace, which is also his peace? Why haven't Eric Spencer found his wife?
Short answer, condoms are cheaper than child support. That's the short answer. Like I said, I mean, I went into the military at a young age, and when I got to my duty station, all the guys were older than me, and they had either been divorced and remarried, and they used to tell me, "Don't get married, don't get married."
Right.
Now for me, personally, my parents were together for 51 years. My father just passed away this past December, and they were married 51 years. So I grew up in a household seeing two people work together through thick and thin to raise children, to have a family and make it. So my social programming was looking for a wife.
Traditional, right?
Age. And looking back on it now, a lot of the women didn't want to be wives. And also, they thought they could control me because I have this boyish face. You know, I'm handsome and stuff, but they think, okay, because you're kind and you are accommodating, then I can run over you. But when stuff comes up and I push back and they realize I can't control this guy, they would move away.
Right.
For a long time, I thought something that I wasn't doing, that I wasn't better, I wasn't good enough, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I mean, you know, work out, you know, no kids, you know, this, that, all the stuff you're supposed to have. And I'm like, so what's the problem? And then I figured out after going on these trips to Brazil, it's like, yo, I'm not the problem. Because for me, I can go to Brazil at 48 years old.
Yes, sir.
And have women come up to me half my age.
Right.
All day long. And let me echo something that Horn said. You know, he said he wanted to be with black women.
Right.
I do too. But at the same time, I learned my history. When we define black women, we're talking about women of color. And believe it or not, Brazilians share a lot of the similarities between us. Matter of fact, they are the largest country with the most amount of African descendants, more than us. And when you go to the African American Museum in DC, it shows you they deposited almost 6 million Africans into Brazil.
Right.
And when you go within the culture, when you step outside of Rio, because Rio is just a speck. And I tell guys this, Rio is a speck. I've been to Belo Horizonte. I've been to Sao Paulo. I've been to Salvador Bahia. And Salvador Bahia is their version of Charleston.
Right.
Where they used to bring the slaves in.
Right.
And they have embraced more of their culture. They've kept it more intact than we have.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about Black, there's no difference between us and them, except for they speak Portuguese and we speak English. So with that being said, me going more and more and more and more is like, whatever color you want, whatever flavor you want, whatever size you want, they have it. And the thing about us is we have been conditioned to accept less here. And when you go there and you see how warm and receptive you get from the people, not just the women, the people, then you realize that you've been done a disservice in the States. And you can't come back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And when they argue about, oh, well, they're not Black, sweetheart, they're just as Black as you are.
Mm-hmm.
I show them pictures of some, I said, from light bright to charcoal. I said, they have the same ancestry we have. The only difference is they speak a different language. And the thing about that is they're so accommodating. So for me, it's hard to come back here and date, even to have a conversation, because I know what I got to deal with. Juice ain't just ain't worth the squeeze.
Right.
You know, 3 or 4 dates, man, I can be in Brazil.
Right.
All day long. And to be back around feminine women that want you to come up to them.
And so, guys, it's really sad. This is a panel of men. I got my man Aguapo from Beautiful Lives, one of the BMO brothers, and my man Sean Horn, and my man Blair Nash. He's an author. He's written several books. And listen, I know some of the things we say on this show, some of the women are not used to it, but this is a men's channel where men share their pain and their story. And to the women that are listening, you're listening to hear and to understand Black men. On my channel, men are brutally honest. And it's not our intentions to hurt you, but it's our intention to let you know what Black men are thinking, masculine Black men. And on that note, shout out to my man Andrew Baker for the $20 cash out. Thank you, brother. You're so kind. I'm so honored by that $20 cash out, brother Andrew Baker. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate your kindness. And to all the people that are supporting the channel. And to the people that are listening, guys, share this content. Bring in let's get this live feed up to at least 50 to 100 people tonight, guys. I know it's Thanksgiving. I know some people are chilling with their families. And thank you to the people that are listening. But share this content, guys, with at least 5 people. Once you share the content, hit the 1 button. But you guys are hearing the stories of other Black men and why Black men are frustrated with the dating options in America. Keep listening.
Women say, hey, I like you. I want you. Let's go. Let's go. And they're going to go.
Right.
And if they're not interested, they're going to be like, they're going to be very respectful. And they're like, okay, I'm not interested. I got a boyfriend. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if they like you, brother, green light. And brothers in the United States are deprived of that. I have spoken, since I've been with BMO, I have spoken to hundreds of brothers that all of them share the same sentiment. Like, what's wrong with me? I try to do this, I try to do that, and nothing worked out. And they are suffering in silence. They're in need of healing. And one thing about BMO, when you go on a group trip, we have a support group, because after you go down to Brazil, you come back to the States, it's a transition.
And guys, that's why I decided to do these shows, talking about the indomitable Black man, because Black men in America go through a lot. We're not talking about the dusty Black men. We're not talking about the abusive Black men, but we're talking about more than 50% of Black men that are good men, but they continue to suffer in silence because of very virulent women that don't honor them and respect them as men. And it's really a shame that Black men have to lower their tenor and that they can't speak the truth with love and conviction. And some of our women get triggered it's really sad because do you want men to lie to you or do you want men to tell you the truth? It takes a mature woman to deal with the truth, but sadly, some of you women are dealing with a schema affliction, and that schema affliction is denial. And many times it's cognitive dissonance. And it's a condition that I told you guys is called deaf. Kevin Samuels talks about sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and need to be right. I came up with my own slogan called deaf. They deny the evidence. You have the evidence right here. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue through ad hominem attacks, and then they fight you or they flee. And so I don't get it, because do you want men to lie to you? Or do you want men to tell you the truth and speak the truth in love? And I think most men are trying to speak the truth in love. Keep listening. Hold tight.
You know, some guys, they have a hard time accepting that I'm back here in the States.
Right.
And it can be depressing.
Right.
All jokes aside, it can be very depressing, because now you've gone someplace where women that in their culture, they're considered 4, 5s, and 6s. But when we go down there, based on our perception of the environment that we left, those women are 6, 7, and 8s, which are women that you want to make wives. We're not even going to talk about the 9s and the 10s. I mean, sweetheart, you're not in the running, and they don't want to hear that. So it's hard. For me, I just can't do it. I can't deal with the attitude. You know, I wish them the best. I don't have any ill will or any animosity toward them. They can want what they want, but I'm going to go get what I want. For the last 40 years, you've been able to say, hey, I'm strong and independent. I don't need a man.
Right.
That sword cuts both ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm strong and I'm independent, and I don't need you either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So let's take it back to Blair, and then I want Ken St. John's to come in and the guy in the black.
So guys, that's just a minor clip. I got my man, the snake whisperer, in the house. You guys got to watch out for Gene. Gene is he's the snake whisperer. You know, he got a masculine exterior, but you know, he
Get out of here, man.
I call my man Gene the snake whisperer.
Get out of here. Oh my God.
Gene, listening to this discussion about black men in America, you hail from the great state of New York. Yeah. The topic of the show is the indomitable black man, because I feel that black men are indomitable. And because of their indomitable nature and their ability to be resilient, they have a lot to be thankful for. Gene, let's tell the audience who you are. Tell the audience about your struggles in the past and your story as a black man. And, you know, Gene, you're about 6'2". You know, you're about 55 or 56, I believe.
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
You're 6'2". And I want you to tell brothers how women of other ethnicities treat you compared to sometimes, not all, the women of African aspect, because you were married to a black woman. You have a black daughter. So let's make that a qualifier. And so, Gene, you know, I want you to share with the audience, because, you know, as soon as you start talking, people going to think, oh, he hate black women. You know, his mom is black. And you don't hate black women. You love black women. You just want good women.
Honestly, most of my dating experience is not really with African American women. I've dated some, but I've had a lot of experience with black women from other cultures. My ex-wife was Cuban. She's a physician. And you know, because I've shown you receipts. The thing is that even here, like, I'll meet black women that are nowhere near, and I'm not saying this to knock them or anything, nowhere near my ex-wife, nowhere near the women that approach me of other races, just not even close. And they'll devalue me in the sense that I'm invisible, or, you know, or if there's a guy who's more thuggish or whatever in the same space, that guy's going to get most of the attention. Then when they see the women that I date or who I was married to, then it's, you know, you see the confusion on their face. I get approached, and like I said, this, I get approached, even like everyone's the conversation is about like, what is available to you outside of the country. But, and it's probably because I live in New York, but my experience is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not disputing that. But my experience here is that I've had access to a lot of non-American women who grew up in patriarchal cultures, who, because of how I was raised, and I explained that to you, like, my mother and father split up when I was young, but my dad was always around. My dad had 24 brothers and sisters. I have 15 uncles on his side. They were always around. My mother's brother, super masculine dude. All these guys are patriarchal, grew up in patriarchal cultures, super masculine. My mother was raised by her father because her mom left. So my mom had a reverence for men, and she spoke to me and my brother from that place. And she taught my sisters, I'm the youngest, she taught my sisters to respect me as a man when I was a little kid.
Right.
Like my whole life I've had this. So being the way I was raised in the environment I was raised in, my energy is very masculine. And I repel a lot of African-American women. Because I don't have the, like how brothers have a tendency, they watch what they say, and I don't do any of that.
Right,
I'm a low key kind of guy, but I don't bite my tongue. I don't. I'm respectful, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and I'm not worried about how you feel about it if I'm telling you the truth. The very thing that repels African-American women attracts hordes of other women. I've shown you, if I'm on a dating app, I get tons white, Latina, Asian, you name it, like everything, the rainbow. And it's no work. It's just showing up. Because even within this country, there are women who are attracted to masculinity. And it's not like in our culture, they're attracted to fake masculinity. The thug, like the guys I actually beat up when I was growing, like the guys that they think are tough to me are not tough. I beat those guys up my whole life. Like, the thug with his pants hanging off his butt, the gangster. These guys, they run in packs because they're afraid. They're not masculine. They're actually effeminate. But back to your point, my history is that other women, what repels the African-American woman about me actually attracts everybody else. And so they will pay me way more attention once they see that. Like I've had women that I've been around for 2-3 years and they never said anything to me. Then I show up with a beautiful woman of another culture or another race, and now they want to get to know me. Even though they know I'm with somebody, they're trying to talk to me. But prior to that, they don't have anything to say. I've dated the rainbow, most of the European countries, only one Asian country, all of the Caribbean countries. I've dated the rainbow, and culture is everything, man. It's not even race, it's culture.
Right. It's culture, right. Gene,
culture is everything.
I consider you an indomitable man. You're very indomitable. Meaning,
oh, absolutely.
You're a warrior. You like
absolutely.
You ain't Fleece Johnson. Fleece Johnson say he's a warrior, but we ain't talking about that kind of warrior. He's a clown. But you're a warrior. You've been through what many men haven't experienced. You experienced a divorce.
Yeah.
You experienced the death of your mother and your father, I believe.
And my oldest brother and my oldest sister too.
Oh wow. And so,
yeah.
Gene, you know what true femininity looked like. And when you hear the discussion from the men of this old show, maybe about 3 months ago, what are you getting? When you heard the other brothers talking about their distress and their pain, what thoughts are popping in your head as it relates to the Western woman?
Well, what pops into my head, like I had one experience with that, and it was actually with my ex-wife, because as she moved along in her career, so I met her first year of medical school, and we were together until she was practicing for 4 years. And over that time, she changed. She became more like a feminist, so she was combative. She was the medical director over 4 clinics, and she was telling people what to do all day, every day, and she was trying to tell me what to do. So when I hear these guys talk, you know, I can relate through that experience, but also just growing up in the community, even though I haven't dated a lot of the women like that, I've seen it my whole life. You know, I told you I grew up on Long Island. I grew up in the Republican stronghold. I grew up listening to white men ask me, why do black guys put up with black women? Like, I grew up hearing this stuff. You know, this is not new. You know, so it's like I advocate for black men. You know, when I come into any situation, whether it's online or whatever, you know, I advocate for black men because I empathize with them, because if you grow up around other races of men, then you will appreciate how emasculated black men are.
Right.
And I grew up around white men,
right,
you know, as much, if not more, than black men. To this day, I'm around white men more than I'm around black men, because of the business that I'm in. They do not, other cultures of men do not, like, you know, you will have black women online talking about how black men are emasculated and blah, 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 and the white man got his foot on your neck. But other guys don't look at us like that. They wonder, why do we put up with our women?
Right.
They've been saying that to me since I was a teenager. So I totally empathize with guys who, you know, these brothers who are going overseas and you know, just basically all they're trying to do is be happy and have peace. They want a relationship where they're valued and they have peace in the relationship and they're respected as men. And I've heard men, long before there was an internet, I've heard men tell me that they would never tolerate what black men tolerate from black women. And these black women are out here trying to swirl and all this other stuff, and they don't realize that these men have long since had a view of them as being like not worthy of a relationship. Because I've heard it since I was a teen.
Right.
It's not us destroying their reputation. They've destroyed it themselves, and they did it a long time ago.
Gene, hold your point, brother. Shout out to my man Bridge brother. Excellent expose. Shout out to the Snake Whisperer for that poignant conversation. But the Bridge brother said, "Peace, brother. I'm up against aunties and mothers who don't respect black men." He said that uncles have been demasculated, who have poisoned my daughter to disrespect me. It's tough out here. I'm holding on. But brother, you ain't got to hold on. If you need some help, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com for a non-diagnostic clinical consultation. If your distress is to the point that you need a therapist within your own frame or within your own state, then I will gladly talk to you about being referred. But I'm on a mission to empower black men. I decided to start the Kosher Clinician and the Manhood Chronicles based on the pain of so many men suffering in silence. And listen, I know these conversations are not PC. Many don't want to hear it. They get triggered due to that schema affliction because they're so used to many guys being simps. Because we have a lot of black male simps, they tell us women what they want to hear instead of telling them the truth. If you really love a woman, you're going to tell her the truth, but you're going to do it as gentle as you can. But Gene, what I found out, regardless of how you tell the truth, some still won't receive the truth. You can tell it to them harsh or you can tell it to them softly, but many are mentally impacted and mentally have cognitive dissonance. Sweet Lulu Bean said, and Sweet Lulu Bean, I want you to pop on, dear. I need you to pop on. We need to hear some powerful statements from my dear friend Sweet Lulu Bean. She said, here in the USA, shallow bravado and material is seen as manhood. Then the same black women will call those men Pookas and Ray Rays. And that's true, sister. That is so true. And then Bridge Builder said that I'm well-traveled, educated, and humble, and do know what respect looks like, no doubt. And Andrew Baker said, facts, I never tolerate, and neither do I. I don't tolerate it. No, I stand firm in my masculinity to the point that my sisters get slick, they get out of line, they'll get this work. I love my mom, but she get out of line, she can get this work. And I love my mom. But I don't tolerate disrespect for no man. I don't tolerate disrespect from a man. But I'm definitely not going to tolerate from a person that I've been designated to protect. It's my job as a man to protect the women in my family. So what in the hell does it look like me letting them disrespect me? What women don't understand, men want respect. And when you disrespect a man, then to him, that means you don't love him. And so Sweet Lulu Bing said, I don't recommend that American black men bring traditional women to the West. Rather move out there and travel back and forth. This place would change them and they're not kept. It's possible. You're right, Sweet Lulu Bing. But I would like for you, right. And, you know, and she's right in part. It depends on if the woman is first generation, second generation, or third generation. First generation means she's from the old country. You know, she was her grandmother's, her aunt's. Second generation means she's like in the middle. And then third generation is the more modern, like the Zennials and the Millennials. So is it a risk? Yes, but then it depends on the woman's culture, her background, and if the women in her family and her fathers hold them accountable. If she has strong respect for her father, the chances of her going astray are slim to none. Can they get impacted by westernization? Yes. But there are men that have brought their wives back to America and, you know, and they're doing fine, but it can be tricky. So I agree with you.
I want to make one brief point. Because what you guys are saying just reminded me of something. When I was coming up, women used to always approach like my mom and my sisters and my aunts and like chastise them for the way they treated me and my brothers and my cousins and stuff. And I never, and they would push back, and I never understood it. But now, you know, in recent years, I've come to realize that like these women were offended by the respect that we were shown as men.
Right.
And they were trying to change the way my family thought. Now, my three sisters all got married, bought homes and had kids. They had no problems getting married, but they were taught to respect men, like I said, and it worked out. And, you know, and my sisters, you know, they're attractive women. They're not beauty queens, but they had no problem finding husbands and getting married. And it's because they know how to respect men, and they were taught. We were like, you know, they learned by first respecting me and my brother.
Right. I don't know, Sweet Lulu Bing popped off. Sweet Lulu Bing, you were on, you popped off. Pop back on, please. I don't know what happened. But I'm going to drop the link again, guys. Please donate to the channel. Please share.
How do you do that through the?
What do you mean?
Here.
What are you talking about, Jay?
How do you donate through here?
Just Cash App, PayPal.
Okay.
Yeah, so either one of those. I'm going to drop the link again. Sweet Lulu Bing was on, but she popped off. I don't know what happened, but I would love to hear her points of view. But to the guys that are listening, guys, I want you guys to come back on and keep listening. I want you guys to please share the content. So, Sweet Lulu Bing, how would you like to add to the conversation, ma'am? You are what I call the spirit of the mongoose, and I call you the spirit.
You're funny.
I call Sweet Lulu Bing the spirit of the mongoose because she seeks to destroy fake femininity. She seeks to destroy fake women that are more or less wearing a veneer of femininity. And just like a mongoose is able to take the venom from a venomous snake. So, Sweet Lulu Bing, how would you like to add to this conversation? Because I feel that black men in America are very resilient, but they're also indomitable. How would you like to add to the conversation, ma'am?
I think we've spoken before, and I told you that from what I have picked up is the issue the issue is that black men don't understand what it is that they have to offer, because it's taken for granted so much in this country. I remember coming off the plane, and everywhere I turned, I saw a handsome black man. It didn't matter if he was a security guard. It didn't matter if he was a policeman. It didn't matter. I was just like, the first thing I noticed was how handsome, how beautiful black men are. You guys are, I mean, you're even taller than West Africans. You're even bigger than West Africans. I promise you. So if you understood how handsome you were, and this is the first time also where I saw beautiful muscular men with unfit women next to them. And it was a normal thing. Like, that's the first thing I said to my husband when he took me out is, why are these handsome men with these big fat women? And there's so many of them. I have never seen so many big women in my life, you know? And they're comfortable with it. That's the thing. And American black women don't understand how loyal black men are to them.
Yes, very loyal.
The manosphere is it's small. But for the most part, Black men love their wives. Black men love their families, and Black men defend these very women that we are trying to open their eyes to. The very same women are the ones that are destroying them. Will be the first ones to defend them. So yeah, Black women in this country don't understand what they have in Black men, and Black men don't understand who they are.
Right. I totally agree. I think they don't understand who they are because they've been conditioned to accept mediocrity. And when they travel abroad, Sweet Lulu Bean, when they get the love and the respect from another woman, they don't know how to act. Because
not even from other men. Like I said, my husband in South Africa always gets asked, are you a bodybuilder? You know, are you a movie star? Because of how he looks. You know, he's handsome. You know, he's muscular. He doesn't have to work hard. A lot of people ask him if he's West African because you know, we don't get a lot of Americans there. The minute he opens his mouth, people are interested. If you go to these other countries as a Black man, you don't have to prove yourself. You are enough just by existing, just by being yourself. Whereas here, you know, people tend to take you for granted.
Yeah, that is true.
Right. It's the negative socialization, Sweet Lulu Bean, of the Black man. It's negative socialization, and also it's the negative imprint. But Sweet Lulu Bean, everybody's been asking Sweet Lulu Bean,
when am I going to unmask myself?
The brothers want to know, who is this mysterious woman behind the camera? Only for 30 seconds, Sweet Lulu Bean. Then you can go back on.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you pictures. I'm going to send you, Coach Expedition, pictures of me for now. And let me reason to, please. I'm private. And I am really not trying to be in these YouTube streets. And the thing
no
is,
doubt, I respect that. No problem.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'll give it as hard as they give me. I'm African, like I'm ready for it. So I don't necessarily want people to see that side of me.
Yeah, you got that Zulu blood. Y'all know y'all dealing with. Sweet Lulu Bean got that Zulu heat. She's a Zulu. So
I'm Zulus, they haven't told you about Xhosa women. Zulus at least have some sense.
So which one is stronger, the Zulus or the Hausa?
Xhosa. So Zulu women, because Zulu men are very, very strong. Zulu men are known for being stubborn. Zulu men are very strict, but they're very loving. But they are very strict. As much as he loves, he's just as strict. Xhosa women usually were the ones that tend to date or can date out. In terms of we'll date foreigners. They'll call us the gold diggers of South Africa.
Right.
But from what I know, as a Xhosa women, is they're very good at meeting a man and growing with a man. We have tempers. We tend to be light in complexion. Tend to have the biggest bums. Small waist. No, we do. Typical Xhosa. High people.
Look at Gene Nas. Gene look like them. Looking like Cletus.
I think I saw there's a South African brother who commented. Ask him to just break down the typical Xhosa women, and he'll tell you how we tend to look.
Well. Listen. You know, the light skin, is that due to the intermixture of white blood? Or is that just due to another variation of the African gene?
So it is. There's a mixture of Khoisan. That's why we have the clicks in the language.
Right.
So it's a mixture of the Khoisan. It's a mixture of colored. So our coloreds are not like. So what you guys call colored is different. With us, what happened is you got mixed race people that only bred with other mixed race people.
Right.
So you actually have communities. If you go to Cape Town, there's large communities of coloreds. And it's basically Mariah Carey only having children with Van Diesel and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's a lot of there is quite a bit of admixture, but you do obviously get different colored Xhosas, but we're known for being yellow bones.
Right. Sweet Lulu Bean, you got a cadre of men and women that are waiting from the unmasking of Sweet Lulu Bean.
That's
Top
fun.
Gun, Top Gun said the unmasking of Lulu Bean. Shout out to him.
3, 2, 1.
Coming to you in 2022.
That's fun.
But you know what, Sweet Lulu Bean, when you hear, you know, these conversations, you know, when you hear about the indomitable nature of the black man, you know, you're a very vibrant woman. You know, God bless you with your husband. I think you and your husband talked about some of the struggles and the challenges that he had when he was dealing with American women. And when you hear this old story, how does that resonate to your psyche, Sweet Lulu Bean, about the maltreatment of many American black men? And, you know, I'm sure you got some sisters or cousins in South Africa with some of these men. So to the single men that are listening, you guys need to talk to Sweet Lulu Bean, and maybe she got some nieces and cousins and sisters.
Tosha, we should go. We should go down. December is a very nice time to go down to South Africa.
Right.
So I think you, myself and my husband, we should take you down. And so you can, I'll introduce you to my family. And so you can experience South Africa as a way for yourself first,
ma'am.
and then come up here. So that you can talk from a point of experience.
Right. I would love to do that with you and your husband. I would love to travel. Actually,
He didn't want to come back. He did not. He hates it here. I was remembering. I was remembering you were talking about. There was one of the brothers who said that, you know, he gets very depressed when he's back here. You know, my husband misses the hospitality. You know, he misses. He has more friends in South Africa and Zimbabwe than he has here in you know, in America. You know, I would introduce him to a friend of mine, and then the whole December he disappeared. They took care of him, you know, where you can trust. You're not looking behind your back thinking somebody's out to get you. You know, that haterism culture, it isn't there.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, you're not, your brother, your sister is not out to get you. You don't have to look behind your back. And that's what he misses.
And you know what's so sad, Sweet Lulu Bean? You know, the Mickey G's, the Miss Parker's Back to Basics, Dr. O. You know, the crazy thing about it, you know, you three ladies are Sagittarius, which basically means you guys are very blunt. Y'all just speak your mind. You just don't care. You say what you believe in. But, you know, it's really sad that when women come to the defense of black men, and look, you know, people can say pick me. Well, you're a married woman, so you're definitely not a pick me. But if you are a pick me, you're a smart pick me because at least you got a husband. And I see so many women that are suffering in the latter stages of their life because they've been conditioned not to honor and love and to respect their men. And, you know, when you deal with this vitriol for so many American black men, you're very, black men, black women. Why do you think so many American black women have such a level of disdain for you when you advocate for the plight and the pain of the American black man?
I think it's like the king said, you know, the king that's with you now, when he said that it's a matter of culture, where I resonated with what he said. I have been raised to respect men from when I was young, whether it is your little brother, you know, I mean, you even have a name for a young man and a young woman, which you don't have, usisi, ubuti, you know. A man has a title regardless of his age. So here women aren't taught to respect men, and that's why, like I say, the biggest problem I see with black westernized women is they don't understand the role of a man because they don't understand, because his importance isn't taught. So you're going to say you know, that the only man that will cover you is a husband. And it's like, so what makes you think you're going to wake up one day and you're going to magically respect this husband when you don't respect men in general? What's going to make you think you'll respect this one man? Because you have to respect men. You have to understand, like I said, a man has a spiritual role. A man is a representation of God here on earth.
Right.
A man, whether you know this man or not, when you're out in the street and something goes wrong, I'm looking around me for a man. I don't know what his name is. I'm just hoping that someone is going to come to my rescue, and that person is a man.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
So women in this country are very disingenuous about the importance of a man, about the role of a man and who men are to them. They're lost. They are lost. Women here need to be reintroduced to the concept of a man.
And you know what? And that's why I bring women. You know, there are some men that say, "Oh, I don't want women in the space," and some get mad. But you know, if there are women like you, like women like Miss Parker, Back to Basics, Mika G, Dr. O, the Inye lady, you know, Kenya Do or whatever, the women that want to learn and try to understand where they're falling, I'm going to welcome those women in, because those women are single and they could be looking for husbands at some point. While my channel, my platform is for the advocacy of black men, but also not only black men, all men, I'm going to do everything in my power to advocate and to empower the sisters that want to do the right thing. Because in the gospel says that let the older women teach the younger women. And some of these younger women need to be taught because they have been misinformed. They have been indoctrinated by liberal thoughts and liberal ideologies. And Sweet Lulu Bean has been to their own chagrin and their own detriment. I'm a firm believer that many of our women have been compromised and they don't even know it. And when you try to present them with the evidence, they become deaf because, as I said earlier, they have a condition called cognitive dissonance. To the 28 people that are listening, guys, I've been taking a lot of heat. I've been taking a lot of heat doing these shows. But I love the brotherhood. So, guys, I need you guys to share this content. If you have not donated to the channel, please donate to Cash App $7 Smalls. Please donate. Hit the super chat whenever you can. But if you don't have any money, I know Thanksgiving is here and people have been spending money for food and their loved ones. I'm okay with that. Please share the content. Share this content. If you share with 5 like-minded people, tell them to subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 2,300 because I've been taking some hits. I've been taking some hits this week. But you know what? I don't care because I'd rather tell the truth and to stand firm as a masculine man than to be a puppet and a sucker. The Leo in me won't let me concede to the threats of others. So I respect the people that are listening. So guys, please share the content. To the 30 people that are listening, share the content. We need people that's going to side with good sisters like Sweet Lulu Bean. And to the single men, Sweet Lulu Bean might have some nieces and cousins that can make you guys wise. You know, I'm dead serious because she's a good woman and I respect her highly. And Sweet Lulu Bean, I'm going to do a show about you at some point called The Spirit of the Mongoose. I'm going to do a Sweet Lulu Bean, The Spirit of the Mongoose. You're going to laugh at it. And then at some point, if you can give me a fake avatar, it doesn't have to be a real picture of you, but I want you to give me, once you send me the pictures of what you really look like, send me like a picture that looks similar to you.
I'm going to send you real pictures of me, and that is not an avatar. That is me. I've shown you. You've seen me. Do you remember when I put up a modeling picture of me and you were not very happy?
Right.
And that is me right now.
Okay,
I don't put in any avatars.
Okay, well, great. So people see what Sweet Lulu Bean really look like. But like I was saying, I'm so honored every time you come on. You add so much clarity and insight to the show. You know, and the brothers, they respect you because they need a cheerleader. They need women that would defend them, even though you're a married woman and you're a good woman. But you know what I love about Sweet Lulu Bean Jean? She's always willing to introspect. She's aware of the frailties of her femininity. She's aware of it. She knows that she have issues that she has to fight. And you did such a great job with the last show. I'm gonna break that show down that you did with that show got out in the YouTube streets. You know, people were actually looking at it, and it was a good show. And so I'm gonna break that show down at some point. But you did a good job defending yourself. I saw you in the comments. I'm not gonna call this name channel, but you know, I really like how you stood firm in your convictions. And we need women like you that are willing to speak truth to power, that are willing to be unwavering in your convictions. And yes, I would love to travel with you and your husband to South Africa. I would love to get on a plane and take pictures and take a firsthand report and let men see what they're missing from the culture of South Africa. Now, I'm 6'5", Lulu Bean. I'm about 6'5", 6'6". You know, I got that West African swag. You know, you see me rocking the, what you call it?
You will not get down the streets. I'll have to beat them off you. Because I told you, where I come from, and I also think that goes to part of the lesson that Black American women are missing. Right. And this whole pick me, I don't understand what the issue is being a pick me. Because in my mind, being a pick me means I want a man, I want a committed man, and I want to belong to someone.
Right.
And that's why where I come from, there's a lot of competition because you know that you're not the only one, you know, that wants that for yourself. So people fight for men.
Right.
Down there. And I'm married, and I'm fighting harder now to keep married and to make sure that I don't lose my person, because you can never get comfortable when you have yourself a good man. All the more reason to work hard. That's what I'm saying. You can't get complacent. That side, you sleep. Someone is coming. Someone who's not sleeping is coming.
So how tall is your husband, Sweet Lulu Bing? How tall is he?
So he's how tall is he? I think he's about your height, actually.
Oh, really? Your husband is 6'5"?
Yeah, I think he's no. He's taller than that, because I'm 6'5", Kosha.
No, you can't be 6'5". 6'5" is tall.
I think I am.
6'5". No, you can't be that tall. 6 foot.
You're probably 5'6".
Am I 5? I think you're right. I think I'm 5'6". Guys, sorry, I'm still trying to understand the whole.
Right.
You guys are centimeters.
Guys, 1.7. How do I convert that? I'm 1.7.
1.7. Hold tight.
Yeah, you'd have to convert that into.
I think that's about.
You'd have to convert that into inches.
Okay, hold tight. It should be feet. Hold tight. I think it's to feet. This is 1.7 to feet. I don't know how tall that is, but
1 point.
It's 5'6". You're 5'6".
Okay,
yeah,
he was right.
So Jim was right. So how tall? Yeah. How many meters is your husband?
Listen, I look up at him. That's enough. That's how tall he is.
Okay. Well, you're tall. You're actually tall for a woman. 5'4" is average height.
That's what he told me. Right. That's what he was very surprised.
Yeah, you're tall for a woman. So if you guys have kids and your husband is tall, you guys are going to have some tall kids if y'all don't have.
But if you go down, if there's one thing that you're going to see when we take you down, God willing, is you get all sorts in South Africa. But a lot of women are tall, short. You have all sizes down there, and all shades down there. So I'm quite short down there.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the shortest in my family. My sister's way taller than me, also a model.
Oh wow. Now, Sweet Lulu Bing, you speak with the wisdom of an elder. Now, you look young on the avatar, but I would assume that you're in your 40s or late 30s.
I am 36.
Oh, you're a baby. You're young.
Okay, then I'll take that.
Oh, you're young. You speak with so much conviction and wisdom. You don't look older, but you sound so much older with your wisdom. I would have never thought you were 36.
I think it's this country. I really think it's this country. When you go over there and you come from a traditional background and you come from a place of culture, when you come to the West, you'll sound like you come from wisdom, but it's really just coming from a place where there are rules, where where there's a system and a hierarchy. There isn't anybody here.
In my family, it was the same. Like you sound like people in my family, really. To me,
yeah, that's what happens when you have order, and like I said, and hierarchy.
You sound like people in my family.
Well, global advances in logistics says Brazil's Black gladiators, our voices are leading a growing socialist movement and spreading our message of Black pride through social media. Brazil waits your arrival, brothers. And yes, guys, to the single men, Brazil awaits you. There's a cadre of women that are actually looking for good American brothers. And guys, you don't have to be victims of this toxic culture called America. There's greater over yonder. There's greater in South Africa. There's greater in West Africa. And we know that feminism is slowly seeping into some of the West African countries. The country, by and large, the countries in West Africa tend to still remain very traditional. Sweet Lulu Bing, how has feminism crept into your country in South Africa?
I think they're pretty much doing what they're doing. They're starting with the LGBT movement, and pushing the whole gay agenda, and then at the back of that, feminists, the whole LGBTQ thing now is there was something new that we've never seen. They came up with a whole campaign, Men Are Trash. But what I liked about that is South African men fought back. South African men fought very hard. And yeah, I mean, gay people have always been there. It's never been a big thing, you know? And at the end of the day, it's like, what does it mean to be feminist? I just need to understand, especially if at the end of the day you're a wife and a mother. What does it mean to be feminist? You have a role at the end of the day, unless you're trying to emasculate a person. What is the point of feminism? It's a weapon. It's something else that they want to get into our system to break us down. I don't understand the point of it.
Right.
But
right.
especially now with the third wave feminism is far removed from the first two waves, especially the first wave.
Right.
It's far removed. It's more about women, basically taking over power within the culture. Like it's the weirdest thing when you think about it. It's like, okay, you build a company, now hand me the keys and let me run it. You build a country, hand me the keys and like who does that? Like nobody does that. It doesn't even make sense, but that's basically what they want. Let me run it and I can run it better than you, even though you built it and I can't build it. I haven't shown the capacity to build it, but I'm going to do a better job running it than you. That makes no sense.
African American women really need to be careful, because if this gets out, that it's so easy. I mean, I call home and I tell them, guys, like, you will eat here. It is so easy to get yourself a good man this side. And now that you've got people like the kosher clinician and the manosphere is growing, you really are going to have a situation where you're going to have women specializing in going after African American men.
Well, you know what? It's already happening.
Yeah.
It's already happening. I mean, and I've told Seven this, I get tons of women in my inbox, but this is the thing. I have a cousin who, when I was a teenager, she's older than me, Ivy League educated. She was a scientist. And this is when computers first came on the scene, and she was working with computers. And she had a knack for programming them. So she went from being a scientist to being a freelance contractor. She lived in like 10, 12 countries around the world being a computer programmer. And she would come home all through my teens and my 20s, and she would say to me, Gene, don't believe when they say the black man is this and the black man is that. She said, all over the world, women want you. Like you are wanted everywhere. This is what she would tell me. And now with social media, I have tons of receipts of women from Scotland, from Italy, from all over the world, from African countries, saying the exact same thing they will inbox me and say this. And I've even shared these I block out their face and in their name, but I've shared these messages on social media, and people will attack me. Like black people will attack me because they're butthurt that like we don't really value ourselves. So when they see a woman from another culture saying women all over the world want you, you're the definition of masculinity. I've had women say this over and over, not just about me, but about black men here in America. I mean, this is what I've heard over and over again. But most black men don't realize that. Like I realize it because of my experiences that I've had here. And I had a girlfriend in England. I used to go back and forth. So I have some experience Europe. But everywhere I've been, that's been like when I was in Europe, it's like I was a king.
Yeah.
My girlfriend would not leave me anywhere by myself. She would not leave me anywhere. She was like, I am not leaving you anywhere because these women will be all over you the minute I turn my back.
My husband has a friend, a very dark-skinned brother who has he has a place in Eastern Europe, and he loves Eastern Europe, and he's like he's a king down there,
Oh, yeah.
with white women. And what I'm trying to say is African American women are complaining about Latinas, are complaining about white women in this country, and if they continue, like I said, you're going to have groups of women. If groups of women find out, and you've got social media now, that is this all it takes. I have a Zimbabwean friend. I don't know how many cousins have got African American boyfriends now, just off of Instagram. It's like, is it this easy? You know, to
because those women are coming into spaces where there are a lot of African American men on social media. Because I see it, like especially the Kevin Samuels groups, they are all over those groups. They're all over those groups.
And it's so funny that women in this country have an issue getting married. It's not hard to get married. Men want to be looked after. Men want to be taken care of. And somebody said, you know, once you decide to get married to a man, you are essentially saying to him that I'm going to take care of your emotional, your sexual needs. You will never have to look outside of me. Who doesn't, you know, which woman doesn't want that? As soon as you offer a man that, it's a wrap. Marriage is, I always like when people are having such a hard time and talking about the covering of this man. It's like, sweetie, you should have met him a long time ago if you had proper feminine skills.
Right. Guys, hold tight, guys. Hold tight for 1 minute. Hold tight. I'm going to read this. Guys, I need you to do me a favor. To the 26 people that are listening, please share this content as we speak. Once you share the content, I need everybody to hit 1. Gene, I need you to share the content.
You know, I always do.
Sweet Lulu Bing, I need you to share it, please, for me, ma'am. I'm trying to grow this channel to 3,000. And it seems like every time I try to get over a threshold, I keep taking a hit. It's okay, though. But, guys, I need you to share the content. Please share it. If you don't have money, I'm okay with that. I'll take shares over money any day because if you're sharing, you're helping my channel grow. If you're helping the channel grow, you're helping me grow, and you're helping me get the message out. You're not going to find too many men in these spaces that are licensed clinical therapists talking about the struggles that black men are going through. If you're struggling with thoughts of being inadequate, please email me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. Guys, once you share the content, I need everybody to hit 1. We have some good guys on this show tonight. Sweet Lulu Bean, she's a great woman. And my man, my good dear friend, Gene Davis. And we're going to keep listening to some of the work from the guys from shows I did in the past with my man at Guapo. But guys, please share the content. Hit 1 once you share it. But Gene, keep talking, brother. And then also, Sweet Lulu Bean, you heard what the guys were saying earlier from the show. What did you get from that after Gene finished sharing this point? Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, well, I just to Christopher Ward, what he just posted made me think of an experience I have. I want to share it briefly. So, you know, I told you the what's that?
Shout out to Christopher Ward for the $4.99 super chat. Jeez, so what's that? Great discussion.
No, I heard the applause. I was like, huh? Okay, but anyway, I showed you the 6 foot tall Brazilian chick I used to date with the locks out in LA. So I used to go visit her in LA. She would come here. And you know, LA is different. Like in New York, people are a lot more aggressive. In LA, people are laid back. So we went dancing and a few times. And like 3 times when I went out with her dancing, after we were done dancing and we were ready to leave, and this is to Lulu Bean's point, what she's talking about actually happens here. 3 times after we went dancing, white women approached us and literally asked us what was the nature of our relationship. Like, were we dating? Like I said, this woman's 6 foot tall. You know, she was a D1 sprinter, you know, cut up. In New York, women were terrified of her. Mm-hmm. In California, the white women didn't care. They walked up to us and asked us what was the nature of our relationship, because if we weren't together, they wanted to get to know me. Like, this is how forward they were. Mm-hmm. And that's in California. Like, in California, African-American women are getting crushed by the Latinas, the Asians, and the white women out there, because they you know, people are so laid back, they have no fear. They will approach you and ask you if that's your man or your friend.
Mm.
Yeah.
They don't care. It happened to me 3 times. I was like, is this normal?
What is it like, Sweet Lulu, being in Africa, in South Africa? Are the women that aggressive, or they're more laid back and reserved?
No, they're aggressive. My husband never thought that he'd have to come a point where he actually had to stop himself from having to interact with. So I mean, he said he was going to come out and be a whole whore. He was like, it was just, he said it was so, he had to actually learn discipline, because women were just coming at him. And like I say, it's not, here it's seen as being a pygmisha, it's seen as something desperate, but it's just competition. If you want a man, you have to go get him. It's that simple. If you don't get him, how's he going to come to you?
Right, right. And, it's so sad because a lot of our women don't value the men that they have. When you heard the discussion, Sweet Lulu being earlier, and I'm going to go back to that in a minute. Hold tight, guys. Give me 1 minute. Where the guys were actually talking about some of the struggles that they were having with modern women. I want you to listen to some more of the quotes, Sweet Lulu Bean and Jean, and I want you guys to break it down. Also to the guys that are listening, if any guys want to come on and share this content share this discussion about being an indomitable man, let's have a discussion. But I want you guys to listen for a few more minutes.
Elton, I want you to come back, brother. I know we got a lot of guys on the panel, but let's talk about Blair. You got 3 books. Go support Brother Blair Nash. Go support him. Go support his books and his movement. But let's talk about how your books actually more or less reflect the dynamics that we're seeing in America. Let's talk about your books and use your books as a parent to what's actually going on in America as it relates to relationships. And then, Ken, I want you to come on and tell the audience who you are and why you're single.
Awesome. Well, thanks. So for those who aren't listening, I have 3 books. So when I first, and the funny thing about it is all 3 books kind of have, if you read the books, they all kind of come from, I guess, different vantage points. So when I did the first book, I was, and I'm going to say something, and I want people to kind of listen to the whole breadth of what I'm saying. I would probably classify it as my Derek Jackson moment, where the book was very, just women are everything. Just find you a great woman and everything will be fine, right? And so that was how my first book it did, and surprisingly, that was my most popular book. It went bananas, right? And then who's a multimillionaire. Shout out to Bart, it's my dude. And they started having me just kind of watch YouTube videos, and he had me reading literature and just reading things. And I started kind of understanding the psychology of women and understanding like, oh wow, this is what women do. This is how they do this. This is how they shame you to do this and do that. And I was like, oh really? Wow. And so then he kind of showed me more and more and more. And so my next book came out in 2016, and I was still kind of, women are the greatest. By the time 2018 hit, my book was so, I was so, and I don't even know really the word to use, that I actually had to go back and rewrite parts of the book because people were like, man, you really went in. You really dropped a lot of bombs in there and everything. And I went back and I was like, yeah, that was kind of heavy, wasn't it?
All right.
So,
all right. So I'm going to freeze that. And so what Blair was actually talking about, Jean, the Sweet Lulu Bean, Blair was actually talking about the vitriol that he got from a lot of women because they couldn't handle what he was saying about their negative nature and their negative disposition. And it's just very unfortunate, Sweet Lulu Bean, that every time Black men speak or Black men share their displeasure or their discontentment, it's always a war cry. And instead of introspecting or more or less looking from within, many of our women become angry and disgusted. And it's really unfortunate because, as I said earlier, Jean said it, Black men really love Black women. So what's your take on the behaviors of American women? Lulu Bean in South Africa, how do they deal with some of the negative natures of some American women? How do they deal with disrespectful women in South Africa?
We don't have the laws that you guys have here. You're not going to call the police and they're just going to jump. You know what I mean? That side. And if you step up to a man will be a man. So you need to be careful. That side, they are trying to push a lot of laws now in terms of domestic abuse, but they really are painting it like they're creating a narrative. Same thing as they are here, trying to make it look like I said, the whole LGBTQ, the whole feminism, now black men are the enemy. They're trying to push that narrative, but culturally speaking, on the ground, it's just something that's just never going to really work in the real world, because I think, like I said, there's just enough culture. But I've seen it's not. Let's say I've seen a couple of women get it in the streets, like it happens. So you need to be careful that side. You don't just disrespect a man and think you're gonna get away with it. It's not America.
You know, I'm sure you've had to protect your identity. You speak your mind in many circles, Sweet Lulu Bean. I remember you being on the lead attorney. You were talking about the order and the structure of being the African woman. How do American women treat you and your upbringing as an African woman? How do they treat you? And guys, to the ones that are listening, join the link. Let's have a conversation. And we're going to shut the show down in a few minutes. But I love it when Sweet Lulu Bean comes on, and Gene always bring a lot of clarity and insight. But what have some of the attacks been like, Sweet Lulu Bean? I know you can handle it, but when you get attacked by so many different women, what does it do to you mentally, or really doesn't faze you?
I am more disappointed in how it hurts the community, because, like I said, I was a big proponent of the Black American woman. In America, we have our own views of African Americans, and we romanticize African Americans. And when I came here, like I said, I was gravely disappointed. In my mind, she was Angela Davis and she was Shahrazad Ali and, all of that. And I told you that I really came in believing all these stories, that the Black man this side must have really been doing all these things to her. And I couldn't understand why, because of the journey that both Black men and women have been through here.
Right.
So it didn't make sense to me. And like I said, I came here and it wasn't the case. And if anything, the Black man was the victim. Still
Right.
is. So
right.
it just
still is, right.
So it just hurts when you speak to women like Courtney, and and there's so many women like her, and it's like, listen, sis, we need to break the cycle of unmarried women. We need to break the cycle of the baby mama. We need to break the cycle of the single woman, and we really need to be able to look at ourselves as women and understand that you don't respect men. And what men are telling you, and a man will tell you how he wants to be respected. A man will tell you how he wants to be treated. You can't come into a man's space and tell a man what you think respect is to him.
Right.
And
that's what they do.
Yeah,
right.
that's so. But for the most part, like I said, American women are going to lose. They're going to lose.
Right.
And the men are going to be taken from them. And when they decide to wake up, it'll probably be too late.
Right. I listen, sister. I agree with you 1,000%. Everything you're saying is powerful. But the sad truth is, Lulu Bean, I think the damage is too done. I think the level of hubris and the level of stubbornness will be the downfall of many modern and Western women. And Gene and I, we talk in private. Gene is a single bachelor. And Gene, the women that comes after him, gorgeous women, And I call him the snake, the snake whisperer, because he has such a mellow tone. He looks very rugged on the outside, but he's a rose. And but the pictures that Gene has shown me, the women are gorgeous. I'm like, man, how do you get so many women? But many of them are Latin women, some are white, some are black. But they're very pretty women, very pretty women. And it's unfortunate because there are many men, Sweet Lulu Bean, that want wives. They want good women, but it's a headache, and being indomitable in America is hard. And so many men tend to die off early. They die earlier than their women. I don't know if it's like that in South Africa. Do the men die earlier than the women in South Africa too?
I think generally speaking that's the case, but I think that's because of the stress that the black man has been placed under. But black men now, I see that slowly changing. You know, my husband's, especially here in America, my husband's mother passed away very recently from diabetes, and his father is, I mean, his father's youngest child is 5. His father's in his 70s. You wouldn't think it.
Oh wow.
You know, he's still going strong.
Oh,
Wow.
And here, women are very unhealthy, and Black American men are becoming healthier. So I think that's going to turn on its head very soon.
Yeah, black men go to the gym way more.
Way more, way more.
Yeah, in better shape, everything.
So yeah, like I said, Black women are losing on a lot of fronts. Health fronts. I wish they'd understand
Mental health too.
what's at stake. Mental health. I really wish Black women would understand what's at stake. It's the community, and you need the continuation, you know, of a people. And the only way that you can do that is if Black men and Black women marry each other and have children, and create relationships, and strong relationships at that. Otherwise, they're gonna have a whole lot of mixed babies, half African, half American babies out there. That, you know, my husband as is. There's a whole community in Ghana of American Hebrews. It's the second biggest outside of Israel. Whole community of African American Hebrews, and they're out in Ghana.
Right, in Ghana, right. I think they're the Igbo, and I think in Zimbabwe they're called the Limba of Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe is close to South Africa.
Coach, what I'm saying, as in American brothers took place and moved to Ghana.
Yeah, a lot of Americans.
Yeah,
they have moved there.
There's a huge community of I think it was a year or so. I mean, they had over, I don't know, I think that was over 2-point-something million African Americans who've taken on Ghanaian citizenships. You see African American men and women buying land, especially Tanzania. It's Tanzania, Gambia, and Ghana. There's a whole wave of African Americans moving over to Africa.
Yeah.
And I know now also my husband has a friend who's a contractor. And there's a group of African American men in the DR that bought some property on a mountainside, and it's just Black Americans building.
Yeah.
People are leaving.
Yeah, a lot are going back to the motherland. They're going back to the country. You know, they want to go where they're honored and respected, and it's really unfortunate. But you know, I tell Black men to go where they're celebrated, go where they're loved, go where they're honored, and don't be in a country where women don't respect them or value them. And I'm going to keep doing these shows, Sweet Lulu Bean. I'm going to keep having you, Gene, and other brothers that want to share their story and to share their pain, because I'm tired of Black men being treated as objects of someone's gratification. I'm tired of Black men suffering in silence. I'm tired of Black men being voiceless, good, decent men that are giving their best and not getting anything in return. It's never enough. You got, like you said, chicks that are big, you know. You got 600-pound chicks. Gene told me about a lady, and we were down laughing. Gene, tell Sweet Lulu Bean about the story about the woman said she was raising two of her sons.
Okay, so there's I can hear the show. Oh, I can hear myself in the back. Not talking now, but when I was talking before, I hear it in my headphones.
That's not me. Everything.
No, I know it's not you. Moses, I hear the early part of the show playing. You got it playing somewhere? You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm not playing it. I don't know what that is.
Okay, I'll ignore it. Anyway, yeah, so I'm on a particular dating app, and now this is where I meet a lot of the women that if I match with them and I think they're interesting, I'll show them to Moses. So this one woman who hit me up, I mean, she was like at least 400 pounds, right? She was so
he was so heavy that she couldn't walk, right? And she said in her profile, she said, "I'm praying that God gives me back my legs in 2022."
Oh,
She
wow.
said she's praying that God give her back her legs in 2022, and she was smoking weed with oxygen in her nose, right? And then she said that she's raising two sons, and she spelt raisins like the fruit.
Oh, wow.
She's literally spelled raisins. She says, "I'm raising two." So I'm like, this woman is illiterate. She's 400 pounds. She can't breathe. She can't walk, and she's on a dating site, and she has the exact same standards. Like she has all this stuff in her profile. Like like guys got to step up and like what she won't tolerate. It's just and there are so many of them. That's another thing too. Is like there's so many women like that on these dating profiles, and they will hit me up, and I'm like, how do you think that like this is good? Like I don't know who they see when they look at me because what I get and who I date and who matches with me, is light years better than, and it's always this African American women. So I mean, to your point, Lulu Bean, when you talk about like how they think they're gonna get married and stuff, they don't look at us as equals. They think that they're better than we are.
Right, right.
They think that they're better. They think that you know, no matter what they look like, no matter how they behave, like they want the right of first refusal. So I shouldn't have options outside of them, and I would be lucky to have them. But I've always had options outside of them, and they don't. They try to shame you when they realize that and say you hate yourself or you know whatever. But it's just it's craziness. Not this. It's very unhealthy. There's a lot of mental illness in our community that needs to be addressed. This is why we need guys like you, man.
Well,
You,
listen.
We need more clinicians.
Right,
you know,
right.
there was a group of my husband had a group of girlfriends go down to South Africa, and he took them out, and they went out to the clubs down there. And I remember at the end of the night, the girls were so shocked at like just how direct men were, and there wasn't any, the pussyfooting, it's, hey, you're pretty.
No.
Boyfriend, do you have a girlfriend? No, yes, okay, I'm taking you out to dinner. They were so shocked, and I couldn't understand also from a cultural perspective. And I think here, maybe also, Coach, it's something to think about that, maybe it's also maybe organizing trips for women and taking women to places like Ghana, places where they can also meet African men,
Right.
and also be approached by African, you know what I mean, by African men, and maybe go to Kenya, go to places where there's culture, and also see how women take them out of take them out of this environment because I saw those women really came back. I saw a difference. I don't know now. I haven't met them this side, but I know that they were so shocked by so many. They were shocked. They were shocked to find out also, how women, they are professionals, and being a professional means nothing. Being a doctor, being educated, it's not what it means here. At the end of the day, you're not a doctor in your own home.
Right.
You're the boss is your husband.
Right.
And also
right.
to stop thinking that a man being the head of the household means you're less than. It's just a different role.
Right. It doesn't mean that it's less than. Actually, being the leader of the home is a very stressful job because being the father can be very tiresome. It can be very stressful. And at any time, Sweet Lulu Bean, Gene knows and I knows that a man got to be willing to give his life. And, that's why I don't understand why sometimes our women get upset. Men exude or more or less exercise masculine authority. I understood it because it's for their benefit.
Exactly.
It's for their benefit.
Well, all you have to do is just be a woman to a man. You don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. If anything, If I stress about anything, I tell my husband and I move on because I know he'll fix it.
Mhm.
I I don't have to worry. If I want something, I tell my husband and I get it. I it he provides my lifestyle. So I don't understand what the issue is.
Right, right,
All
right,
I have to do is be cute, be pretty, and be respectful, and listen.
right.
Hey, I want to address two things that we spoke of. Well, one thing we spoke about earlier, and another thing that I want to interject into the conversation because I think they're important for this conversation. One, several times the name "pick me" has come up, right? And what I would like to point out is that if you pay attention, black women only call black women who love and respect black men "pick me's." They if a black woman dates a non-black man, he could be a bum. He could be a white man, he could be a bum. They will never call those women pick me's. Those women are leveling up. The black man could be more successful than the white man or the non-black man, and the black woman who's with the black man is a pick me. The black woman who's with the white man is leveling up. The black woman who's with the non-white man, not non-black man, is also leveling up. So there's a very strict racial component to who they call pick me, and it's consistent with their devaluing of black men. You're only a pick me if you're on the side of the black man, if you're respecting black men, if you're married to a black man, if you date black men, you are a pick me. That's number one. The second thing is like people don't realize this, but there's a reason why black men and black women in this country are really not we're not connected in the way like you would think we'd be able to weather all this stuff that we've gone through and that it wouldn't separate us. But what people don't realize is that the black man was here for hundreds of years by himself. The generations of black men lived and died without even seeing a woman here. Black women were only brought here 60 years before the Civil War, and they were brought here because the transatlantic slave trade, not slavery, but the transatlantic slave trade was being outlawed. So they needed to bring women here to create more slaves because they weren't going to be able to import them anymore. So when the black women came over here, and you have to remember also on the shores of Africa, you read this book, Daughters of the Trade, it talks about how African women were marrying the white slavers and helping them because they were the traders. They were helping the white men go inland and capture men of other tribes and sell them into slavery. So the black women that were brought over here, they had no connection and no relationship with these men. They were essentially strangers. They didn't come up like you watch these movies and they're coming over here together on ships. It wasn't like that. So you have a short time period where black men and black women were together, but you have to remember these women were brought here from the shores where they were marrying white guys, and white guys were basically running things, and they were having kids with them, and they would have separate compounds where they kept their wives and they kept the kids, but they didn't live with them. So these women are coming from their own country, but the white man is running things, and then they get over here, and by necessity, because they were brought here to breed, they were with black men. You know what I'm saying? But that was a relatively short time period. If you look at how long slavery went on until you got to feminism and social welfare, where again the black woman was able to disconnect by way of the white man, disconnect from black men. And nobody pays attention to this. Nobody pays attention, but there is this. It's a myth. This whole thing of us being together. We were strangers when they brought us together. Of this going through all of this stuff together and enduring. That wasn't the case. It was not the case. And so I personally feel that that's why it has been so easy for black women to separate themselves from us, because they've always been separate from us in this country. And only time they were with us was because they had no choice to be. But when they had a
Mm-hmm.
choice over in Africa, they chose to marry and procreate with white men and help them enslave us. And over here, they were forced to be. But when they got a chance to separate, they did the exact same thing. I'm not confused. Like a lot of people are confused. I'm not confused. We were never really together here. Not by choice.
That's an excellent point. Listen, guys, real quick before we sign off, once again, thank you to Lulu Bean. And Lulu Bean, I look forward to seeing those pictures. I'm going to South Africa with you and you and Mr. Bean. I'm gonna call your husband Mr. Bean.
Can I ask you a question just before you go, please, Kosha and Jean?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So I had made a comment earlier on, and I was saying, just from what I've seen with a few African ladies that I know that have come this side, is my thinking is that if African American men marry women from the diaspora outside this country, I don't think it's a good idea that they bring those women into America for an extended period of time. Rather, build your home there, have your family there, and then if
I agree.
you're making your living, I know that I'm also I don't really like America.
Right.
It's not a place where I want to raise my child, especially
I
because I
don't
want
either.
my child black, with traditions, and this is not the place to do it, especially coming from a traditional background. And I wanted to know what you guys think about that. Do you think you should be taking women from other cultures and importing them in?
I think it depends on, once again. So let me ask you a question, Sweet Little Bean. You've been to America, but you haven't got tainted. So you are a living example that being in America doesn't mean you have been turned astray. So the question remains, how did you keep your bearings? How did you stay the faith? Because I still say there are men, like I know a guy named the American Brazilian, and I think it depends on if they were raised in the rural countryside versus the city. And then also if the families are still highly involved, if the families are very religious. But if they're, liberal, if they went to universities, if they've been indoctrinated, then I agree, don't bring them back here. But let's ask the question. You're in America. You have not been indoctrinated to the point that you go against your husband's order. So why is that?
I have a very strong husband. Like when I'd make certain friendships, he would be honest and listen. I don't think this is right for you. This is where this person is coming from.
Right.
And it just got to the point where I wasn't really able to make friendships with African American women. We just wouldn't be able to relate. At something always happened. Like I said, where it was just a culture clash, culture of opinions. I haven't been able to have relationships with African American women, to tell you the truth. Even with my husband's own family, I keep my distance. I don't relate.
Right.
And he knows that I'm not really happy this side.
So once again, why haven't you went astray? Why haven't you turned to the dark side? You are an African woman, South African woman in America. You didn't let American culture influence you. So it sounds like to me that you have a strong background. It sounds like to me that the elders from your community hold you accountable. And it sounds like to me that your father have an expectation as it relates to serving your husband. Is that fair to say?
I still maintain that I've got a very strong husband, who, like I said, when he feels like I'm going the wrong direction, he will sit me down and see what I think I'm doing. And he'll remind me what we're here for.
Okay.
So it really is my husband. Like I get put in my place a lot. Like you said, I'm very strong-headed, and so he does correct me a lot, and he's had to correct me a lot on my outlook, on the way that I think. And I've just come to, like I said, I don't have a sense of belonging here. I don't really relate to even my own Black people this side. A lot of Africans, we don't relate. This side, it's really hard to form relationships with our brothers and sisters from this continent.
Right.
I think.
So, go ahead, Jane. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because he was asking like what was your question again? I don't know why I just drew a blank.
The question was in terms of American Black brothers going and marrying traditional women. do you think that it is a good idea
Oh,
to
I
be?
remember the question. Yeah, no, I don't. I think like Coach has said, it depends. I think if the woman is younger and more impressionable, and you have to look at the woman too, because you can look on social media and you can see African women on social media who are just like Americans. Like you can see that the culture they're highly influenced by the culture, the behavior of African American women. They dress themselves like them, they act like them, and then there are others who you can see they hold closer to their culture and their upbringing. And also to your point, Coach, like the people have different levels of awareness, different levels of critical thinking. Like Lulu obviously is a critical thinker, but a lot of women and a lot of people are not. So
Right.
if the person doesn't have the capacity to think critically and to see how um, these ways of being and thinking are detrimental to them, like those, that's not a person you want to bring over. So you got to really be honest about who it is that you're dealing with. But what I've seen with a lot of guys who are trying to marry women from overseas, the general rule is that they're like, if she's 40 or older, they'll bring her here because
Right.
she's going to be pretty much more set in her ways.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's beneath 40, they're going to be very cautious or not bring her at all. And there's quite a few guys that have moved to other countries. They've developed income streams online, and they've moved to the country where the origin of their wife, and that's where they are because they don't want her to become Americanized. I mean, if a woman is under 40 years old or if she's impressionable, then I say stay in her country with her.
Yeah.
So,
That's
guys,
my belief.
I want to ask you guys a question to the 24 that are listening. I dropped the link. Why are you indomitable? Please call in. What are you grateful for? Why are you indomitable? And it's an honor to hear sisters like Sweet Lulu being sharing and deciphering knowledge and wisdom. I'm killing one snake at a time, as she is the spirit of the mongoose. And so once again, Sweet Lulu Bean, get ready because I got a show for you, dear. And once again, don't forget those pictures, because
I will send them tonight.
Don't forget them because I'm looking forward to going to South Africa. Where do you and your husband live? Do you guys live in
Atlanta?
Y'all live in Atlanta. So how many hours does it take to get to South Africa from Atlanta?
He took a direct flight. And I mean, I was like, what? He took a direct flight. It didn't take long. I'm not sure in terms of hours, but I took 3 planes to get here, so I'm not sure. Okay. But I know by Delta, I think Delta is the carrier, your guys' carrier down there, the one direct flight.
So would you say it's less than 14 hours to get from Georgia to South
Africa? You leave in the evening, you'll get there in the morning.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I definitely want to go. I just got back from Brazil. When I went the first time, it was like 16 hours.
Have you been to Africa, Kosha? Anywhere?
I never been, but I'm looking forward to going to Ghana. I did my DNA ancestry, and I'm 43% Nigerian. I'm about 23% Cameroon, Congo. Then I'm like from Mali. It says Mali about 3%, Senegal about 2%, and then also Ghana. I'm about 10%. So most blacks in America, we have diverse bloodlines. We're Americans of the African diaspora. Our bloodlines are very diverse, and I'm 5% white. I'm 5% British, and 1% German. So I'm an American mutt. But mostly, I try to represent. I represent the Ghanaians and the Nigerians. I represent the Ghanaians and Nigerians. So I got to show them love. I actually got this from a brother in Senegal. Say it again.
I'm saying that those your Orishas. Is he stuck?
What did you say, Sweet Lulu Bing? Those are my what?
Necklaces. Aren't those, in terms of Nigerian necklaces, are those not supposed to represent your Orishas?
Oh, I don't know. I know. Yeah, this is from Ghana. This is called a Diami, I believe.
What, Coach? There's a friend of my husband's who's getting married. He's Nigerian. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should also come with us. Stop traveling.
Well, listen, I would love to. I would love to come and travel with you guys, man, because You know, world travel is the great equalizer, and I've been honored to have the opportunity to travel abroad.
I'm gonna Africanize you, get the Latina out of you. We're gonna make sure you have a second wife from the continent, and drop some seed on the continent and give us some little baby tradition.
You're funny. Well, you know, I'm 6'5", so there'll be giants. You know, there'll be some giants in the earth. But real quick, guys, are there any other guys want to come on and join the discussion? If not, we're going to sign off. But real quick, Sweet Little Bean, what did you get from the discussion? I love having you come on. What did you get from the discussion? And tell me why the discussion about black men being indomitable is so important. What did you get from the discussion?
I don't think black men were designed to fail. That's what I got from the discussion. That's what I've always seen from black men. Black men have never failed. They've gone through so many atrocities. They've gone through so many struggles, and the black man is still here.
Still here,
and
right?
For me, that is the indomitable. That is, I don't know, I can't pronounce that word.
Indomitable.
That one. But black men aren't designed to fail, and I have not come across a black man in my belief that has failed, because there'll always be like men like you, like Gene, the man in the manosphere, who will always strive for something greater.
No doubt. No, I appreciate you. GDO said Africa can use some. He said they could use some kosher
babies.
Well,
that's true. You guys need to start dropping some seeds there.
I always tell Gene I want me a little son. You know, Gene is 6'2", I'm 6'5", 6'6", and I got girls, but I've always wanted me a little son, man.
Yeah, I got a daughter too.
Yeah,
I actually gave my husband, I spoke to him and I told him that, I think he should have more children, because African American men, I've come across a lot of African American women with children, but African American men, you'll usually have one or a few. A lot of his friends only have one child. It'll usually be women that have more than one baby father. But I've spoken to him about, he should really think. African American men don't think about legacy.
Right.
And the only way you can have legacy is having children. And I spoke to him about the second wife thing, and he looked at me like I was crazy. And so I had to remind myself, oh, by the way, you're American. You're not there yet.
Right. Do you and your husband have children, Sweet Little Bean?
No, he's got two from a previous relationship. Hopefully next year. I know I want 4. And like I said, he's still looking at me like, what's the point? What are we doing? What are we working hard for? Why are we making this money? What are we going to live it to?
Right. I admire you for that. I love your culture. I love your energy. America is so toxic, and that's why I did this show, because I want to let black men know, if they're living in America, if they're still young, if they still have their health and their strength, they have a lot to be thankful for, because they are indomitable, and they can overcome if they continue to work on themselves. Gene and I talk always in private, and Gene is a good friend of mine. Him and I start laughing, and Gene looks good for 56. His skin is rich.
You both, like I said, American men are handsome. You guys are so beautiful.
Right.
I wouldn't even try and guess your ages. You're both very, very handsome.
Well, I'm 50. Gene is 56. He don't have this chocolate swag like me. He's mocha.
You have children, Coach Gene. You guys have kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old daughter.
Right.
One, like I said, always the one.
Yeah, I have 3. I have 3 girls, 23, 16, and 12.
Gene, I'm going to take Coach down to meet my family. When we come back, we'll make sure you have 6. We'll find someone for you.
Hey, fine.
Some
you know what?
babies out there.
I've been on an African dating site before, and it's like the women are completely different from Americans, because they're looking for husbands. They're feminine. They're respectful. Like, it's the only thing that they share in common with American women is that they're both black. That's it. Otherwise, they're completely. And then, and this is another thing. Every summer, I model for a Nigerian designer, And so I know loads of Africans. I got lots of African friends. And all my friends that are married, their wives are feminine, they're submissive, they're respectful. I don't see any of this disrespect with wives to husbands at all. Um, at the shows, there's like thousands of people, and you see the same thing. I mean, there's people from everywhere, but there's a lot of Africans there, and it's the same thing. There's a lot of Africans in New York, and that's what you see. You don't see women disrespecting men in African communities.
Yeah, because the community will look at you like you're crazy.
Right. You don't see it because they don't tolerate it.
No,
they
don't.
They don't tolerate the disrespect. And if the women get out of line, when I was in Brazil, there's a consequence for it. And I think that's why the women in those countries tend to stay more true to code. But listen, sweet Lulu Bean, it's always a pleasure, dear. I love your energy. If there's anyone else who want to join the conversation, please do. I know some people like to just fall back and listen, and that's fine. But I wanted to do this show to commemorate my love for black men, and also to let black men know that they have hope outside of America, that they are descendants of warriors, they're descendants of conquerors, they're descendants of slaves, and they don't have to more or less die and go to the grave miserable. They don't have to sit in their cars and be broken from the lack of feminine women and the lack of cooperation. If a woman is not honoring you, come up with an exit strategy. Get your money up and travel abroad. And, Gene talked today. He showed me some pictures. And, the women that Gene deal with are gorgeous. Very beautiful, man. I'm like, I had to shake my head sometimes. But very, very pretty women. And so, Gene is a witness. It's better when you're later. It's better later. And it's better when you're older. And once again, Gene is 56. You would never thought Gene still can make babies. Gene can make babies till he's 80.
He's still making babies.
You know what's funny is I only have one kid, but all through my 20s and 30s, like that's what I went through. Like women, but until I got married, they're like women wanting to have my kid because I'm tall and I'm smart, and they'll be like, they want to have your baby. But my ex-wife was the one who, like, I'm worse than any woman. I've never met a woman who's more selective than me when it comes to the ID. Like, I'm not sharing my DNA with just anybody. I'm just not. I'm not going to be tied to you for 18 years, and you're not going to be my baby mama. I don't do baby mamas. You're going to either be my wife, and we're going to have children while we're married, or it's not happening.
Right.
Right. So my wife, I had. Even though we're divorced, I had my daughter with the woman that I wanted to have children with.
Right.
Well,
listen, I'm about to sign off, guys. This has been a great show. It's going to get better and better, I promise you. Thank you, sweet Lulu Bean. Be on the lookout for this show I got from you at some point called The Spirit of the Mongoose. And, I might get a special editor for that one for you. But I'm looking forward to that show that I'm going to do. And I'm looking forward to those pictures, man, So I can't.
And I like tall women, sweet Lulu Bean. So if you got some tall, curvy South Africans, let me know what's up.
Like I said, I want to speak to Coach Hubby first, because we're going to Nigeria and then South Africa. So I want to see how we're going to do it with him. Once he's seen my family and he's vetted the girls, if he says yes, then we can talk.
Well, if I think they're good, Gene, I'll definitely talk to you because I believe I trust sweet Lulu Bean. She's a good woman. But listen, guys, we're about to sign off. Much love and blessings. Thank you, Lulu Bean. Blessing to you and your family, your husband. And thank you, as always, for coming on. Please share the content, Gene. Please share.
Absolutely.
Please share. Hit all notification button, guys.
I always do.
And we're about to sign off, and I'm going to be waiting. I'm going to be counting down to the unveiling of the African dream. Sweet Lulu Bean.
Bye, Coach. Bye, Gene.
All right.
Bye, Lulu Bean.
All right. Be good. All right. So listen, guys, we're about to sign off. Is there anyone else that want to come on? If not, we're going to sign off. Thank you to everyone that shared on this channel. Thank you for everyone that shared. I love you guys, and I love the brotherhood. I love the men that I'm trying to serve. And it's going to get better and better. Please, guys, if you're dealing with clinical issues or mental health issues, email me at kosherclinician@gmail.com for a non-diagnostic clinical consultation. World travel is the great equalizer as it helps men become better versions of themselves. And once men travel abroad, they'll begin to see that women abroad treat them and give them the love, honor, and respect that they deserve. Be well, guys, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be well.
4 in the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, let's kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say highs with the lows, that's like these days. World change, love, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. The highs with the lows, that's like these days. World change, love, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. Any day could've been it. High school price on my head. Paranoid lying in my bed. Pray to God they don't turn my shirt cherry. I was lost, didn't know me. Introduced myself to codeine. 6 months was a dope fiend. Philly didn't even know things. There was a low me. Swear to God it would've owed me. Everything you ever told me. Everything you ever showed me. I forgot it. Caused me drama. I used to stay on one. Now I changed on them. The highs with the lows. That's life these days. World change up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. Get the highs with the lows. That's like these days. World change up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. I just saw Jizzy got a plane. Guess that's what he meant when he said nothing was the same. Lately I've been grounded, energizing off the pain. Some things gon' change, I'm just soaking up the game. Through the mud, out the rain, like I remember all those same nights. Now I'm on top, no stage fright. Now I'm on go, no brake lights. Hit the pedal, hit the engine roar. No fear like a matador. Breaking trends and I'm making more. Going up, climbing ladders more. I can't be stopped. Now I do what I want. Real, no front. All the way to the top. Highs with the lows. That's like these days. World change up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. The highs with the lows. That's like these days. World change up, he on lockdown. Phone call 3 ways. I just pray that he find God now. It's no replay. On my way up to the top now. That's on me, ayy. Keep God first. I see evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Go. Set it out. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it out. You living boring, I'm gonna set it out. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it out. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it out. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry Deli with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I am the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping while I won't fall. No sleeping while I won't lead out. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Go, 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 go. Set it out. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it out. You living boring, I'm gonna set it out. Shoot when I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it out. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it out. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for my baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you could never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Sending shots, I block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop pop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Play full belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. The real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I made for a while. No sleeping while I won't fall. No sleeping while I won't lead off. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse. Not today, say. This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Go, 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 go. Set it out. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it out. You living boring, I'm gonna set it out. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it out. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it out. I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, these no Cartiers. Pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip. Neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib. Neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick. Neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the dip. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way. I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, don't no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since the fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. On my own, no fixer. I'm gon' ball, no pick up. That I ate those, they live differ. Talking on my back, go figure. Whole team eats from spitter. Never was the one to go flicker. No face, no case, no picture. For place, big stakes, my dinner. Flip that, Canal Street, flip that. Last week, old money, this week, new racks. Never buy 9 more. If I can't afford to gift wrap, stunning in your foreign car. You keep riding rental tax. Heard you roll the other lean, we are not the same. Couple thousand in my pocket, that's pocket chip. Rubber bands on my arm, this is not for play. I put 20 on the crib while you cop a chain. I know they hated or love it. You know I love when they hate it. Last year was living basic. Nah. Haters on the other side. 3 up, read between the lines. Know I got some angels with me. Made it through some evil times. Late night on some demon time. Pour the Sprite, I need love. I can't lock and see the line. Free time. Brainstorm, you can assume with your chains on. I can see none with the lights off. Cap, you been the main one. Coolin' when I got my mains on. Show money.